Military industrial complex. And the New World Order.
Hey, welcome to Fear Porn Propaganda. I'm Wisecraft, and today I'm with Anon2150, Haplo, and Robert J. Morris. Welcome, guys. You can unmute your mics and continue where you were talking.
Hey, guys. Hey, thanks for having me on.
That you know, I'll just start here. I have got 12 gas masks. I've got a shitload of meal-ready kits. I've got freeze-dried foods. I have been collecting swords, knives, and yeah, I'll leave it at that. You know, the way I look at it is you don't have to reload a freaking sword. And I'm hunkering down because I'm fairly certain that there is a lot of things that aren't being said, and it's probably going to come out all at once right before it happens. Yeah. As people are disappearing that are you know, allegedly important to the world, and we're going to be left here to fend for ourselves.
You also don't have to check a rifle for ammo double feed either.
Exactly. So you know, I've got my gear ready. I've got my survival training under my belt, and you know, I'm gonna go. When time comes, I'm fairly certain, and I hope that I'm wrong, and I'm hoping other people are wrong. I hope that this is just some kind of nut job thing. I really don't want it to be true, but I honestly think it is. I think there's some shit happening. And I think they've been telling us for years that something's going to happen, but they've been putting it in movies and television shows and telling us in weird ways so they can feel better about their lives when they're letting everybody die.
Well, you know, I have to say they're probably not really trying to tell us. They're trying to be clever about it, and they're trying to tell each other.
Yeah. So
yeah, you know, go on about how you were talking about the how the language and the Phoenicians and all that with the what you were telling me offline.
Oh, the English language is basically a variation of ancient Phoenician. That's how that goes. And I don't know 100% on all of it because I'm not the linguist, and I don't have any of the my friends' research in front of me. But from what I understand, is that we're just America literally is just a continuation of an ancient esoteric society.
You got to remember, too, it's also an amalgamation of all languages because all conquered nations across the planet that are conquered have to be able to function within the paradigm of being conquered under a new reign. So, I mean, we have basically swallowed up every single language across the planet as we go.
Everybody speaks English.
Well, yeah, but English is an amalgamation of all languages.
Exactly. So, yeah, that's pretty much it's, you know, bringing it all together, getting it prepared for something.
No, it's to make things functional while things go to shit.
Mm-hmm.
If you know what I mean.
So we were talking about how the numbers encoded. I mean, I showed that the last episode. The numbers have been encoded throughout the different the situations that happen, like whether it's a death or a birth or an event, and then it has to do with like the times in between. Mathematically line them out with their prime, and you get like, of course, the Saturn speed.
Yeah, you get some fairly interesting things that you know, like we were saying, it's a language all by itself. The language within a language, and it's a language of numbers for the most part, and it tells a great story if one can decode what's being said.
Hey, Haplo, I think this is the first time we've been on a podcast together, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Oh, it's a pleasure to talk to you, man.
Yeah, same. Feel the same. I like people that make sense.
Before things do go to hell, and before we lose the internet completely, I've been working on ways to have another outlet other than Google Plus, seeing as we've been constantly censored, scroogled, messed with. Yeah. I mean, even yesterday I tried to do a podcast, and for the first time I was shut down 5 or 6 times during the podcast, and it was just me. just by myself.
Yep.
And
Oh, that's crazy.
yeah.
Um,
And it was only a 30-minute podcast too, and it was just to show you guys some software that we could use to have another platform for communication.
Yeah. I think.
Well, that's probably why they didn't want you to get that out.
I think that if anything, there's the grid is gonna go down, and it's actually estimated that in America alone, in North America, it would include you too, that when the grid goes down, everybody is so reliant on their technology. When it goes down, people are just going to be dying left and right. It is going to turn into complete and total chaos. It is going to be a living hell. And people that aren't ready for it are not going to make it. They're just not going to make it. They're going to be sitting in their homes wondering what the hell happened when people roll in there and kill the whole family and take their shit.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Remember that Revolution?
Yeah, I remember the show. Yeah, I do.
Everybody, it's like we somehow ran out of electricity. We somehow.
It's like an EMP that blasted everything.
Actually, I got this one here for your porn. The synopsis of the show is this: is that one day all electricity just stops. So basically, then they fast forward a couple, I don't know, about 10 years or a decade later. Everyone's running around with swords. Everyone's got muskets and some have high-tech weapons, but they're a very, very elite few that have them. And then suddenly, some people are still using computers. How are they doing that? Well, it all bases down to the chemtrails and to basically nanite technology that was sprayed across everything, and these nanites actually absorb electricity. And they're also a network group with AI, and this networked AI nanite complex is got its own self-awareness.
So it's like
it's like Skynet. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, that reminds me of a couple of things. Like one thing with the chemtrails, idea in Matrix, the Animatrix, one of the I think it was Second Renaissance.
Yep.
Part 2.
Yeah.
They showed how why the robots rebelled. It wasn't really about the slavery. It was really about they needed the actual. It started out as slavery, but it ended up being like they needed their own energy, and we weren't giving it to them. We took it away by doing the chemtrails. So in a way, what if that's a foreshadowing of setting up the future? Why they're blocking out the sun is because they're planning ahead.
Right.
And that was showing us what they're planning for, which would be the robot takeover, essentially, in the Matrix.
Yeah. Well, I was interested in one thing. Rob, you were about ready to say something about when I think that maybe there's a possibility of an EMP or just the grid going down and chaos breaking out.
I was going to say something. Is that back in 2004, we had the entire Eastern Seaboard get knocked out, and I've often referred back to it because it was an awesome time. But what if that wasn't by accident? What if that in itself wasn't just a fucking drill?
It was a test. It was like a test to see what would happen.
Honestly, guys, this is my personal belief, and I have to thank Thor News for the idea, because he's kind of right. Is that a big grandiose attack on the people and loading them up into FEMA camps is kind of ridiculous, because first off, these are human beings that are going to be instructed to do this to us. These people have feelings, they have thoughts of their own, and I don't think they would do that. That's why they've invested so much money in drone technology. This is why they're doing things with the nanites and whatever and what have you. But a hostile takeover in this sort of sense is kind of ridiculous. They'd probably just go underground, like you were saying, Pablo,
yeah.
And they'll probably just let us kill each other off. When everything else goes to shit and supply routes are whacked and there are no more ways to procure what you need to survive, guess what? We're going to be killing each other off, period.
That's right.
And
I think that's right.
The predictive programming and things like The Walking Dead, that other show, Revolution, other shows, especially the really can't.
That's about the zombies, which is what it kind of portrayed in the beginning, it's really about the people and how they affect each other throughout dealing with the zombies.
Well, it took 5 seasons for Rick Grimes to come out and say, "We're the Walking Dead." And we all knew that was the concept.
Around the second season, I figured that they were the Walking Dead because they ended up like kind of portraying this. Okay, we're not really focused on the zombies. And when I watched, I'm a fan of zombie films, so when I watched this, I was like, this is a different format.
Go ahead. Can I say something about symbolism? Like in the zombie scenario, the world is like a cannibalism of humankind, and so we like devour each other, in different ways. And one of the ways we do that is through murder. I mean, there are plenty of ways that the human civilization cannibalizes certain portions of the population on the planet for their own exploitative means.
Exactly.
So it's going on now.
And they also dropped other hints too, like when in season 2, I think when they discovered that everybody has the zombie virus anyway, so as soon as you die, you're going to become one regardless of being bit or not, which in itself is a little bit kind of silly as a writing instrument. I mean, it makes no fucking sense. Really, if you think about it. However, it does have a huge impact when you come down to predictive programming. It's that to say that regardless, you're still part of the system.
Mm-hmm. There's no escape.
There's no escape from the system whatsoever. Like, you can get bitten to accelerate the process, or you can just die out of your foolishness or not paying attention or whichever, and you're going to be a zombie anyway. I think this has more metaphorical implications rather than direct. Now, I'm not certain about its connection with the comic. I believe wholeheartedly that the comic probably isn't predictive programming, but the series is. Yeah.
But there were some very major changes to the TV series from the graphic novel.
Yeah.
That much I know. Then I've read some of the graphic novels, and there's major deviations from the graphic novel.
In plot or in meaning, like.
Well, I mean, like the CDC part where they were down at the CDC. That whole thing is like nothing like the graphic novel. Absolutely nothing like. I mean, the graphic novel doesn't have anything like that.
Yeah, and I saw that whole bit there. I thought it was kind of clever, but at the same time, I thought it was stupid.
Yeah, I concur.
Actions and programming, and it's a matter of like when we're watching it, we're doing research, we have to break it down and come on to these types of things, communications, and get the relevance from the other people that are actually experiencing the same thing. Or are we just alone in it? Or are we just crazy?
Well, I think really that maybe that Rob's on the right path, the chaos, but like more of like keeping us divided, so when the time comes and like all the reins are let go and it's basically turned to total anarchy, we're going to kill ourselves while the elite sit there and wait it out.
Or maybe they've already got their spaceship and they're ready to move back to Mars. I don't know.
I don't know. They're talking about sending people up for their life to go to Mars on this little what is it? Kind of like Survivor on Mars. They got this weird stuff going on where there's like civilians that signed up to go to Mars, and it's going to be like the Survivor TV show, but on Mars, kind of thing that they're getting ready to put together, which is kind of strange for me. I would never sign up for that. That sounds kind of ludicrous to me.
What? I would. Just to get off this fucking rock.
Well, that's true. I mean, basically, like I was saying to somebody the other day, if I was suicidal a little bit more than I am, I might think about it. But at this point, I think that I kind of have like, I don't know, it might just be a fantasy that I have in my own head. When this shit goes down, if it goes down, in any way, whatever scenario it is, and there is chaos and basic, society breaks apart, I'd like to be here because I'm going to collect shit. I'm going to try to gather people up and put shit back together with a whole bunch of people and wait for those bastards to come out of the ground.
Well,
I
hate to break this to you, man, but society is already technically falling apart.
Exactly. When it goes to south,
we got a whole whack of people that are zombified, sitting in their houses, watching their fucking boxes, and not giving a shit about their neighbors, and not giving really a rat's ass about real journalism or research or wanting to really know what's going on.
They just let Fox and CNN tell them what's
that's
going
right.
on.
Like, this is very, very Orwellian shit. And
well, can you imagine this? Imagine this, though. When the government basically goes underground and they let the reins go, these people sitting in their home that rely on going to McDonald's every day and going to the grocery store, they have no survival skills whatsoever outside of going to the grocery store and eating at fast food joints. Those are going to be the first ones to go. They're not going to know what the hell to do. They're going to be lost, and it's not going to take long because these people are sitting around that work at Google that make a couple $100,000 a year. They got a couple Mercedes sitting in their driveway, living in a $1.5 million house that have no clue what it's like to skin a squirrel.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, these people are going down fast because people are going to go take their shit, and if they try to get in the way, they're just going to take them out.
Half these people won't even know how to make a pointy stick.
Exactly. They have no clue. They don't know how to set a snare. They don't know how to fish for trout. You know, they don't have any idea. They don't know how to make a hook out of bone. They don't have a clue. They don't have a clue. They wouldn't eat dead shit off the ground to survive. They wouldn't eat maggots. They wouldn't eat insects. They wouldn't do it to survive.
They wouldn't crack bones open and eat the marrow.
Exactly. They have no clue. They don't even know what nutritional value is anymore.
Yeah, I think
they're lost.
If this does happen, then what we will experience is a sort of cannibalization of
that'll happen.
One another.
Yeah, when people get hungry enough, they're going to start. First, they're going to go to the pets. Love you, Fluffy, but the kids got to eat. It's going to be stir-fried kitty that night. After that, it's going to be a little Johnny bastard kid in the neighborhood that's going to be, all of a sudden, he disappears, and it's going to be stir-fried little Johnny. That shit's probably going to happen if it gets that bad.
You know what? The thing is that people will explore those options. I mean, not everybody, but yeah, people will explore those options. And guess what?
Yeah.
It will get crazy. This is
I can
why.
tell you, the things I've eaten is amazing in survival training. The things that you're willing to eat, and the lengths that you're willing to, the things you're willing to do to get food in your stomach is quite amazing.
Oh yeah, I mean, as long as you have the will to survive, which mostly every organism on this planet has.
Yep.
Of course you are. And people think, oh well, it's evil to do this, it's evil to do that. Survivability is not evil. And you know what kills me is, like I said, we're going back to shows like The Walking Dead. They've gotten really, really, really graphic in the last couple of seasons, and they've really explored some hard to ponder on issues. But I mean, at the same time, even though it's kind of the reality of what things would be in that case, why the fuck are they showing it to us now? Are they just getting people comfortable with the idea that you're going to have to make some hard choices?
I think so. It's just, I think it is exactly as you say it. Number one, keep us divided amongst ourselves until it's time to, deploy the, whatever scenario it is before people decide to escape whatever they think is coming, and their martial law will break out, chaos will break out, and this will give people that are behind the scenes that have all of this stuff, they've been prepping it for the last 20 years, time to get away without anybody noticing.
See, my prediction is this. It's like you say, martial law might get implemented and what have you, and the forces will do what they think. They think they're going to be doing, the work of good. However, they will start to flip. While they flip, and things will go into chaos.
Yep.
And towns will overcome. Some will be overcome. But at the same time, while this is all happening, that's when the elites are going to fucking go underground, and then the chaos will ensue.
Yeah.
When you have
Exactly.
all of this weaponry, like all of these, like you have all these state cities, and you have all these other, even here in Canada, the provinces, like we're moving military gear in for like.
And ladies and gentlemen of the jury,
Damn
the
it. Sorry.
prosecution is not going
Yeah.
Didn't
But
mean to do
yeah,
that.
I mean, no, but there's going to be a lot. Like, what people don't realize, there's going to be a lot of stuff available for us to usurp and use in our battle for survival. And hey, all the elites have to do is move underground.
Yeah, and they've got it. I have definite confirmation, and since the information's already out, I had to stack a shitload of non-disclosure papers, and I wasn't really involved in too much, but I mean there was enough that I know there's something odd going on, and I've made the connections over the past few years that it doesn't take. What was it, like $15 billion, if not more, to build an airport in Denver?
Oh yeah, the Denver.
What the hell's
airport.
going on there? Then you have Dulce, then you have underground entrances in Arkansas. You've got them all over the United States. China, it literally says they have them. They have underground facilities that they have entire naval fleets underground. Russia admits that is admitting they have them. Germany, France, they have underground sites. They have literal cities. That's what China has. To think that the United States doesn't, I'm pretty sure Canada's got some. I mean, they've got these things all over. And I know the United States, these things they're networked. They've got transportation systems that are underground. These cities are ready to go. They have everything they need, and still, right now, day and night, food and freeze-dried stuff and things are being pumped into these underground places.
And don't forget about the main base in the Ozarks.
That's Arkansas.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's where a lot of the 18-wheelers go in. And they have a huge highway underground that goes deeper and deeper and deeper, and they go and they offload their stuff at a certain point, and it's picked up by forklifts and sent off somewhere else underground.
Yeah,
and these things don't make people wonder. That makes me wonder, what's wrong with society?
Yeah, exactly. And, well, not only that, they have their above-ground bunker, which is basically a big, huge ass property with like 2-3 foot thick walls. I mean, this thing can withstand a fucking nuclear attack.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a reason for it.
You gotta wonder. What was that? What's his name? The guy from Predator.
Ventura.
Ventura. Yeah, he went down there. I happened to catch that at one point, and after I already knew about a lot of this stuff, I saw what he went and did. And Alex Jones has talked about it a few times, and yeah, it's pretty much, what the hell's going on? Why aren't people asking this question?
I'm still a fan of Ventura. I think he's actually a decent man. I think that's why he's living in Mexico, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he said, I'm getting the hell out.
Well, fuck that.
For some reason, he some people are saying, well, he's in the Masonic Order. Well, not everybody that's in the Masonic Order is in on the freaking game. No, they're just patsies and pawns, and they know enough to be dangerous. That's basically about it. And I think that's Jesse Ventura. Even if he is in the Masonic Order, he knows enough to be dangerous. And that's about it.
I mean, hey man, there's like it's pretty obvious, that the power is consolidated in like a money aspect.
Well, in what fashion there, Fear?
You sound pretty relaxed about that whole situation.
Because I mean, they don't care about money. Like the people at the high end. I mean, the 13 or the 300, they don't give a rat's fuck about money.
No, they own everything.
Yeah, money is all money is. It's a mechanism by which to make the machine work. It's like cattle feed. If the cattle are hungry and you don't feed them, they die and they no longer produce. Right? And we are the cattle. Money is the cattle feed. That's why they use a debt-based system and a fiat currency, because as long as the machine is operating, we feel like we're doing something. Then we keep on going. It gives us something to work towards. So,
yeah.
I mean, they don't care about money. Money, like that's why it's a debt-based system, because they already have the power.
Yep.
I think I might have like another idea for the television show. I mean, essentially these guys have so much power over the money, and maybe it's not electricity that we lose, maybe it's money that they take away from us, you know? I mean, who's to say that they couldn't find themselves in a better position if they just let everybody fall to shit, and then they could hide in their bunkers and wait for people to kill each other enough, and then willingly come out to a whole other world.
Yeah, Agenda 21 at its best.
Why would they want to do that? It just doesn't make sense. You know?
Why would they want to do it? Because they really think that there's too many people on the face of the earth. And if there is something, I've been looking into and hearing a lot for the past 3 years now on this Planet X Nibiru, and teetering on, maybe it's just a bunch of nonsense, maybe it's not. But there's so many astronomers being whacked now, and enough people coming out of the woodwork going, what, you know, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, what's going on here? Asking this question. I just sent the link over to a guy, it's Bob Fletcher. He's got some very interesting ideas on this, and he's not the only one I've heard talk about this. These people are afraid of something, and that's why they want to go underground.
I was going to say something, and it's either this. It's either the wrong people are on the ground right now, and they want to have them killed off so they can come up and have their perfect world, or they're terraforming the planet. And once we're gone, they're going to terraform it, or they're gonna go to Mars.
Yeah, there's so many different facets of things that I believe. I think that even the elite are not all together on this. I think that a lot of these people believe different things, have different ideas. There's so much confusion even at the upper levels. I think only a handful of people in the entire world out of the billions of people actually have 1/2 of a clue more than the rest of humanity about what's really happening. I really do, because I think that's the way it is. Absolute total blackout. You know, dark. Nobody knows anything. It's a need-to-know basis all the way up to those handfuls of families that literally own the world at this point.
Well, guys, it's already happened once. A period of time called the Dark Ages. It's already happened once. They already tried to delete the history and the memories of everybody.
Yep.
And it happened with the churches, right, like probably 2,500 years ago.
Yep. Catholic Church is great on that one. I mean, they literally are.
Hey, ladder.
Yeah. The Catholic Church did that. I mean, keep everybody ignorant, tell them what truth is, and never let them think outside of what you've told them. Mm-hmm. Or they get burned at the stake if they actually look outside the box.
Oh, yeah, that's why they're demonizing all of us that are onto their plans.
We're just a bunch of conspiracy nuts.
Brand new witch hunt, exactly.
Well, it's not a conspiracy anymore. That's the funny thing. It's not a conspiracy anymore because these assholes have written books that you can get that say, yep, we're doing this shit, and people still say, you're a conspiracy nut. How can I be a conspiracy nut? It's not a conspiracy anymore. It's out of the box. They're telling us. They admit to this shit. We're doing this. Fuck you.
Well, you know what? There's one thing in the human psyche that stands out, and it's ego.
Yeah, pride.
Definitely.
But that's the one thing I look at. Like I was saying earlier, I don't want to escape from the planet. I want to be here. I want to see if this shit hits the fan. I want to see if I can get enough people organized to be waiting for these bastards to come up from underground to give them a little bit of trouble. I mean, I want to be sitting there with a megaphone if I could get one and just be driving people on. Get them, get them.
It's funny you say that. Funny you say that because one of the big video games I actually really do like is Fallout 3.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what that is.
Yeah. There you go. You come
out from underground. You come out. You create your player character. You come out from underground out of these vaults to explore the planet, and it's wasteland kind of a post-apocalyptic, retro kind of 50-esque kind of.
Anon's got to take off. Let him do his little final thought.
Sure. Right.
Yeah.
So later, guys, I'm just gonna head on out. But I think all of this is like really important to talk about because we don't really know what they're going to do. We don't really know what the plan is, but it's worth it to try to figure it out, I think. I wish everyone well on that. And I don't know, I think it's important to share ideas like this. So, yep, thanks, guys.
Agreed. Have a good one, man.
Yeah, you too, buddy. And yeah, I agree as well.
All right, later.
All right,
Yeah.
go ahead and continue. That was some good stuff.
I mean, I've gone so far. I look at my beloved cats, and I look at them and I say I love them so much. But if it really did come down to it, they would have to be dinner. Just all there is to it. It's an unfortunate scenario, but you have to look at all the possibilities.
But that's not a horrible thing to think about. And when you look at the context of like other cultures, I mean, I worked for a company where one of our employees, one of my fellow coworkers was he's African, and I was trying to remember specifically what tribe he's from, but I can't now. But anyway, we were just having a cigarette outside of the place that we were working at. It was a house, and they had a French poodle. Anyway, he feels out the French poodle's thigh, and he looks at me and goes, "Oh, this one's good for eating." And I'm like, but the thing is that I was like, at first I was like, "Oh, that's horrible," but then it's like, well, they eat feral dogs. Period.
Yeah, they do. Exactly.
Period. It's not, he goes at home we don't let dogs in the house because they're food. They're a food source.
Yeah. Vietnamese, Laotians do it. Cambodians do it.
Yeah. Different cultures do things a lot different than we do here in the States and in Canada, and it's just like, very odd to.
It's as bad as us eating chickens. It's just,
Pretty much.
On you.
And I'm not one of the chicken eaters, but I used to be. So, I kind of understand. I'm not like one of those people like a PETA. Like I feel for the animal. I don't really have much feelings. So, but I do kind of see the hypocrisy behind it. Looking outside of it.
Mm-hmm. Well,
hey, on irony's note here, one of my old landlords had a pet chicken, so and it was a coveted animal in the household. So I mean,
pigs around here,
right?
But they also had a chicken coop and sold chickens for because they had a farm. But I mean, at the same time though, they had it was semi-retarded, and they loved the chicken, so they wouldn't sell it, and it became a pet.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. The pole shifting right now, and a lot of it's not even being broadcast. That corporate-owned media is not saying anything, but literally it's speeding up. Every year it's gotten faster, and the poles are moving. They're moving, and it's speeding up. What is this? And other people are starting to ask the question, what is this? And there is. I kind of starting to look at this that enough information has crossed my been put on my plate to say that there is something that is causing this. Like
I know exactly what is causing it. I know exactly what is causing it. Anybody who knows anything about astrophysics and what have you will tell you the same thing. Is that the Mayans knew about this because it had happened before and it's happening now once again.
3,600 years.
Yeah, it's a cycle. So yeah, it's definitely going to happen.
Well, what it is we are passing through what's called the galactic meridian. As we bob up and down through the galactic meridian every how many thousands of years. What it is, basically, it's the plane. It's a galactic plane, which is the same as like the equator on our planet, which separates the north from the south. Well, the same thing happens in our in our galaxy. We are attracted to the galactic plane because at the center is a supermassive black hole, and that black hole sends out what's called basically graviton waves on a plane. That plane is what we are attracted to. Our whole solar system is attracted to that. So as we fly through it, now we started to pass through it in 2012. The Mayans knew it, and it takes several years to pass through it.
You're talking about the dark rift, right?
Yeah.
It's not instantaneous. As we pass through it, our poles will switch because they have to realign themselves to the new galactic polarity.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I've found is that all the planets in the solar system are heating up. Their atmospheres are changing due to being heated up as we are. We're heating up. Our polar caps are melting. Right now, did you know that Florida, Miami, when the tide comes in, it floods in 5 blocks.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
And all that
it's
totally
crazy.
when you look
Yeah.
at things as simple as molecules, when they start to get agitated and their speed increases, what happens? They heat up, right? Well,
Exactly.
that's exactly what's happening with us, because the closer we get to the galactic plane, the faster we go. And guess what? That's going to have us rip right through it. And it might take 100 or 80 years, who knows, to get through the galactic meridian. But once we get through the galactic meridian, things are going to heat up.
Well, what
Like,
do you think about
already-
the planetoid body that might be coming from behind the sun on a different path that comes through?
You talking about Nib or Planet X?
Yeah, that Planet X
I
stuff.
have somebody that she said she saw a vision of all of that happening. She has a whole bunch of videos on her channel. She also said the collapse was going to happen too, but she said, yeah, that when that happens, it's going to mess everything up. But,
Yeah.
you know, take it for what it is. But here's a lot of skeptics on Planet X, but I think it's possible. I think they wouldn't tell anybody about it, you know, especially.
No, they're definitely not going to say a word to anybody about it. They're going to keep it to the very end. It'll be like an announcement. They'll be firing up the helicopter for the president as he's saying, "Hey, y'all, good luck. You're all fucked. I'm out of here."
We're going to, that's probably why we want to go to Mars.
Kind of like
Well, think of this, guys.
You know, you only get to see
It's
it
very
until it's outside of the sun area.
Sorry,
Because
Fear,
the
I
sun's
didn't mean to.
right on us. Oh, I said Nibiru is like basically like behind the sun from our perspective, so we can't see it because, or it's kind of off to the side a little bit, but the sun is so bright in our perspective, it's like it blots out the area of where you would see Nibiru.
Mm-hmm.
Or somebody's blocking it out.
A little further out.
Kind of like Google's doing.
Or chemtrails.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
You know.
the Weather Channel. I was watching the I mean, not the Weather Channel, but like just my local weather. You know, like telling me whatever, and I was like looking at the thing, and I was going, you know, I remember seeing that something about like on chemtrails like a news thing. It was in the past, and it's like when they first, like in the 90s, like first blotted out those, like they go, we have the technology. You go, they showed it at first on the news, and then it was in the I think in the 80s, and they I mean the 90s, and they showed this where you can see it, and they called it chaff at the time, right? Because the person that was showing it was like some
chaff. Yeah, I remember those.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes, but we have the technology to take it away, so you can actually just see the clouds. They don't tell us that nowadays. So, you know, nowadays when you see it, already assume, I mean, well, not us, but like the people, you know, around us, just assume that, you know, that's how it looks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, guys, I mean, you got to think about this too, about the construction of our actual solar system, which in itself is inexplicably weird as fuck. I mean, on the outer planets outside of the asteroid belt, we have gas planets. They're all gas planets. And then you look on the inside, we have all rocky planets. I personally do believe that a collision between two solar systems did happen, so the possibility of a Planet X or Nibiru is absolutely possible because it could be a binary star.
Yeah. Well,
It
I
could be
saw
a dwarf.
the idea was talk about Tiamat today. Yeah, the possibilities are there. As many astronomers will say that asteroid belt is most likely a planet that got destroyed at one point.
Yeah, but what about Chiron, the outside asteroid belt that's like outside of the planet?
Was the Oort belt or the
or the
Oort cloud rather?
I mean, would that be like a series of planets that like crashed into each other and like went smaller and smaller? I mean, they have no people.
Or it could be a leftover junk from the last time two solar systems collided with
It's
each other.
probably a speculation, but I mean, it's definitely something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. It definitely does not support the model of coalescing material from a supernova that turned into a fucking solar system. Absolutely not. Because
explain the virus for society as a spectacle. He has a question mark. The virus. Go ahead.
Oh, he watches Suspicious Observers. I want to give him a thumbs up for doing that because I watch him too.
Mm-hmm. I do too.
Oh, okay, I also explain. Nibiru is basically cosmetology in the past associated with the Phoenicians and the Babylonians and the
Yeah.
Akkadians
Tell
Be
him
and
right
to
back,
look
guys.
up Isaac
Sumerians.
Stitchin's. Yeah. Tell him to look up Isaac
Yeah,
Stitchin's
Zacharias mentioned
stuff on that.
30 years worth on specific cuneiform text that was off of what do you call it, like vases, kind of huge vases, and they had the story of Nibiru on it, and Tiamat, and Kuju, and Nibiru is essentially a planet that comes in and out of our solar system. It basically travels from our star Sol to the other star, Sirius A, and it takes like 3,600 years in order to fully orbit the process. So every 3,600 years, we have a crossing of Nibiru in between Mars and Jupiter, where essentially the asteroid belt is. But it doesn't essentially hit the asteroid belt. It goes right in between the asteroid belt and Jupiter. So where the asteroid belt is now, originally there was no asteroid belt. There was Tiamat and Kuju going around Saturn, which was basically a moon around Saturn that had its own moon, and that moon was called Kuju, which was bigger than our moon at the moment. And so then the process of the crossing became an event because one day, and this was a day when essentially Saturn didn't have the rings, so we call this the golden age of that time. And then so it came around in its elliptical orbit, and basically if you think of the size of Nibiru versus the size of Jupiter, they're very similar. Nibiru is a little smaller, and essentially Jupiter would overpower Nibiru's gravitational pull and get pulled in by Jupiter. So then in that process, Nibiru goes around, and during a certain time of the basically the what do you call it, the Tiamat going around Saturn, there was a moment where it went in between the Jupiter and Mars, and Tiamat was right there, so it got hit by Nibiru's moons as Nibiru went in between, which is called the Great Crossing. Now at that time, it was a great destruction because the moons there was like 7 of them, but at the end of it, when it ended up leaving, there was only like 4. I think there was more than that because it's during, according to the records or the cuneiform text, it was basically a what do you call that, I can't think, it hit like bullets into the planet and knocked it in half. Now half of it stays there and half of it gets pulled out back into space, and then until it got pulled in by Sol, our sun. And then that's the idea behind where it's in the Goldilocks zone now, in between Mars and Mercury. I mean Venus. Mercury, Venus. Yeah, Venus. So after that event happened, and the Tiamat moved in to the other part, that also would explain in the past the deluge, because there's water that appears from nowhere.
Right.
If you're on the planet breaks up in half, and there's half of the planet has water, half of the planet's going to kind of mold onto the other side in order to fill up that big, huge gap, and that would create a huge flood, what they call the deluge. And all of the past stories have this deluge. So that makes a lot of sense, but again, it's just, this is according to those cuneiform texts. So that's the story of what you call that. It gets deeper than that, but I don't want to get too into it.
There's a lot to it. There's so many different theories too.
Yeah, but that's the basic cosmology of it, because it's about basically when the planets were forming and all the planets that were hitting each other and what kind of just happened from that, and there was actual beings that were on these planets when these were happening. So that's it.
It's possible, but I mean, really, right now, I think that I think people, like us and other people that might figure it out might want to be concerned is when I start seeing people trying to go run and hide in big giant shelters they created for themselves.
Yeah, it makes
really
you wonder what's going on.
Exactly, there's something going on here.
Something's going on. Maybe we should be concerned about what they're doing and then figure out what we need to do. So yeah.
Yep.
We lost Roberto.
Nope, he got scroogled.
It happens often to us.
That sucks. Well, hopefully, I'll try to invite him back.
He'll probably hop back in.
There he is.
Is he back?
He's coming back in, yeah.
Okay.
Fun times. The craziness of everything going on. I mean, I think even from isn't a young child, I looked around and wondered, why in the world do these people that I'm in school with just kind of herd around like sheep?
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
I could never figure it out. I was always I had a lot of friends, but I just never could figure out why. I was always doing my own thing, and I guess that intrigued a lot of people because I really didn't care.
Yeah.
Well, I guess everybody's doing this right now. Like, I don't feel like doing that right now. I'd rather read a book. I'm doing this right now, and it doesn't make sense. People, even like my father now, he kind of just believes whatever's told to him. I told him the other day, talking to him, he kind of gets mad at me when I try to tell him, there's some strange things going on. He's like, don't you start this conspiracy crap with me. I said, didn't you tell me when I was a child such stories as if everybody was going to go jump off the Empire State Building without a parachute, you think it's a good idea to do it too? And he said, well, don't use my advice against me. I said, basically, you're saying you have the right to be stupid, but I do not.
Yeah,
you're going to follow your friends off the bridge?
Yeah, stuff like that. I heard it all the time.
That's the thing, too, is like, and my children actually get it a lot because they think for themselves. They don't go along with what everybody else is doing. They actually ask questions. They're young. They're under 7, but still, it's like, what all the other kids do, it's like, they're like, we don't understand why this one person or one child, has different ideas or looks at things, outside the box. They're like, they don't get it. And that's what school is really pushing also, that if you don't fall in line, you're going to be a problem.
Common Core.
Oh, it's so bad. And, my kids actually go to a good school. It is a good school, but still, all of that is really enforced.
Oh, yeah. The lot of kids that have come out that are like in their late teens, early 20s, I ask them simple questions. I say, where's Copenhagen? What's that? That's usually what I get. Idea. Okay, didn't you? That's the capital. That's in Denmark. Are you serious? You don't know these things. I ask them simple questions. What does DC stand for in Washington D.C.? They don't know. Keep them stupid. That's the whole idea, and that's what we're going to end up with is a whole bunch of dumb people that don't know shit.
Did you say
shit hits the fan?
Did you say DC stands for dumb cunts?
Right. That fit. No, I was just saying that I ask kids that are in their late teens and early 20s simple questions like, "Where's Copenhagen?" Nah, they don't know. I ask them simple questions. What does DC stand for in Washington D.C.? They have no idea that it stands for District of Columbia. They don't even know what District of Columbia is.
Hey, I only know where Copenhagen is because of the Trailer Park Boys.
They're not talking about the cigarettes,
Yeah.
But it's funny that you mentioned that District of Columbia. I mean, that's where you get into the minor and major states of America, and there's 59 states actually, like in total.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't even realize that the United States of America has never, ever once in its existence been considered a sovereign country. It has not got sovereignty.
No, it does not. I mean, there's so many things that we've been told that is history that is absolutely not history.
Right. They rewrote all the books to make
it. Yeah. It's his story. It's his
Yeah.
story.
Yeah, his story. Whoever wins the war gets to make up the freaking story.
Well, and as long as you can teach a bunch of people who don't know any better, and I would like to call them idiots, but they're not. They're just, you know what? They're just uninformed, and you know, most people are good. Most people want to believe.
Definitely.
You know, and most people want to believe and say that, yeah, things are, you know, going down a good path. But you know, yeah, you're hoodwinked, and it's you know, that's a sad truth.
Yep, that's pretty much it. I was the one that was always getting booted out of the classroom because I would correct the instructor.
Yeah, I got
I'd
booted
raise my hand.
out. I went to Sunday school when I was like 8 years old, and I got booted out of Sunday school. I had to go play on the swings and wait for my friends to get let out because I asked too many questions. I made the children nervous. They told me.
Well, I remember high school. I would raise my hand to ask a question, and the instructor would always get mad. Every class, never ever failed. They would always be mad at me, and literally I got told this by several different of my instructors that I asked too many questions, and my response every time was, "Isn't that your job to answer questions? It's not my job just to copy down what you say. It's my job to think." And that would piss them off because they themselves had no idea how to respond to that.
Well, that's
what
why
happens to my kids.
I always got in shit. I got in shit because I wouldn't show the steps. I'd always know the answer, but I wouldn't show the steps on how I got there.
That's right. Yeah. You know what? It doesn't matter how you get to the end. It matters how you get. You know that you got to the end.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
Figured it out.
Yeah.
And
It's like, oh yeah, here's the answer. And isn't that what you wanted in the first place?
Yep.
No, you got to show the steps. It's like, well, the steps are like. Are gay, like fuck off.
Yeah.
I don't want to know.
That's that's what happened to me when I started taking things like I wish I had never done it, but ASVAB, I scored top notch on everything, and people saw that, and that's where I ended up working with people because I was the outside of the box thinker, and some people saw that and said we can use this guy because he is not like the people that are just going to go run into gunfire when we say go run into there. It's a suicide mission. He's the type of person that's going to go there. He's the type of person that's going to figure out how to get around that gunfire and take out all of them, in a tactical way.
When I joined the militia, they were absolutely dumbfounded because they said, well, like I had my choice of any military occupation possible, and I was like, I'll go to infantry. Like, why would you do that? I'm like, well, because if I'm as smart as you fucking tell me I am, I'd rather be on the ground where it makes, where it matters, really.
Yeah.
Yep. Like, you could be a radar tech, you could be this and that. I said, that's boring.
Yeah. Sitting behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is boring. Trust me. I will tell you, it is boring.
And it's like, and not only that, I mean, like, first off, you're not going to dictate to me what I'm going to do regardless,
Mm-hmm.
and further to that, it's like, I slowly started to see the patterns from the top down once I was in, and I was like, holy crap, are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
Like, sorry to swear so much fear porn, but yeah, it's my MO.
I don't. I sometimes do myself. I just try to keep it to a minimum, just to.
Yeah, I'm trying my best.
All over the board with it. But like, you get passionate in it, I'm not really big on against it.
I get excited, but I'm conscious of it. So.
Although curses only happen because you believe in them.
Well, we're passionate people, right? And I'll have to say I've been sequestered, I've been like mitigated, I've been pushed down, but I will not stay down ever.
Exactly. Cool Hand Luke style.
Yeah, man, totally.
I'm just gonna keep getting up.
That's right.
Yeah, that's why people like us are hated so much, because they know they can't keep us down. We're the type of people that we're not going to take their shit. We're going to look them in the eye and say, no. I've said this in courtrooms and gotten case dismissed because I said I do not abide by this. I do not agree. I say no. I said this to one judge. I said, I do not follow the order of Saturn. This is not my thing. And this judge is wearing a Masonic ring, and he said he
Right.
called me up to the
Of
bench.
course he was. Of course he
Yeah,
was.
of course he
Yeah.
was. And he said, "What was that you said?" And I said, "I am not involved in this. This is not my system. I do not agree with it, and my answer is no." And he said, "Okay." And he said, "Go take your seat." And I went and sat back down. He said, I want to put in a motion to dismiss. And he threw it out. I mean, it's actually quite simple. When the realization is there, is that all you got to do is say, "I'm not doing this."
Yeah, I do not recognize your authority. You have
That's right.
no authority over me, and I do not take part in this bullshit. Period.
Exactly.
I do, what do you call it, like court support sometimes, and I'm amazed to see, like, not the people that I'm there for, because, you know, when you go there, you're not, essentially, you have to wait to find, you know, see the person that you're there for or whatever, right? And so you actually see all these other cases ahead of time, and I'm amazed to see all these people waiving their rights.
Oh, I know. It's crazy.
Well, hey, the second you ask for outside, like when you ask for, say, a public defender or any kind of defense, you immediately are giving away your ability to defend yourself, and you're
Exactly.
already in the books wise, you're already admitting your own guilt in a
You
sense.
just said you're a slave and you own me.
Yes.
Yeah,
And,
exactly. That's what I see.
And you know, and that's the number one thing people have to get out of their heads is that, you know, like we are still bound by maritime law, which far precedes and supersedes all civil law across
Yep.
the board.
Exactly.
And, like, once people realize that, you do not have to play ball,
Nope.
and they
Well,
will
let's
pull
get
out.
into that for a second. What do we have in a court? I mean, maritime law is like associated with the idea of ships trading between each other and the laws between it. So how did that associate with getting in trouble with some traffic violation to go in front of a ship, essentially, in order to deal with the captain?
Well, to answer your question, the day you were born, because what happened
Yep.
was when the forms got filled out for your birth registration, what happened is that they basically, your parents gave up ownership of you to civil law, because
Yep.
what it becomes is a way bill. It's just no different than like a bill of transfer. And
Yeah, you're talking about,
You became a trade on the stock market.
yeah, stock market, exactly. I've looked into that. It's creeping me out. It's creeped me out, like, for sure.
yeah,
But you know, that's when I started realizing that I
but
don't know.
you are still you. You are still you. You got to remember this. You are still you.
Yeah, I am not in capital letters.
Yeah, of course. I'm my individual self.
That's right, and you still have your inalienable human rights that, you know, like I said, still go back to maritime law. And I mean, this is a reason why, like, if you have the appropriate paperwork, I mean, you still have to deal with law enforcement. You still have to deal with all the other aspects that have been put into place to try to circumvent this. Because why do you think they're there? They're there to circumvent this. Period.
Yep.
But if you have a binder full of the appropriate paperwork, guess what? Mr. Law Enforcement has to sit there and read it. He is bound by his job to sit there and read it and go through it. It might be 3 hours out of your day, but it's 3 hours out of his day too.
Yep. You know, in my old age, I figured out how to work with law enforcement. My normal attire for the day is an 8-inch pair of, I've got Danners, Bates, Rockies, black BDUs, and a black tactical shirt. I usually have at any one given time at least 10, if not 12, sharp, pointy things on me. Got my tactical pen. I have an arsenal of information in my pack that I carry with me. And the officers look at me because I look just like them, but I don't have a badge. And I know the lingo. I know what a lot of these guys are ex-military, and I don't ever catch any flack from any of them. I have been stopped as I work a shift that's keeps me up at night, and when I don't have work, I got days off. I'm out during the nighttime, and I'll be out just going for an exercise ride on my bike or something. I don't have an officer stop me, and they don't ever get their guard up. nothing because the way I'm dressed, and they've literally told me that. They said, we knew you were an all right guy because the way you handled yourself. They don't ever give me any trouble.
I get that too. And you know, sometimes I'm rocked out all hippie style, but it's, you know what? As soon as I open my mouth and I speak to them, it's like, hey, you know, like you said, you know the lingo, and you know, it's as soon as you present yourself a certain way, they get it. And some of them get it. Some of the young upstarts, they're fucking retards. But
oh yeah, I've run into a couple of those, but when they figure out a few things, they ask questions, and I tell them I can't tell you that. That really shuts them down fast. They go, oh shit.
Yeah.
And they say, well, how long were you? I said, I can't tell you that. Oh shit. That shuts them down really fast too. I can't tell you anything, but I can tell you that I know more than you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That shuts them down real fast. And then all of a sudden, it's like, I'm older than you are, I know more than you, and you are going to respect me, son.
That's right. Yeah. 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 I have to agree with that.
Yeah, I just usually thought, like, I realized, you know, because I'm a security guard, I realized that they follow a script, and if you just, like, stay to the script, then they don't, like, do the, they don't go the mile. But if you go off the script, then they start like going, okay, well, why is this person going off the script?
That's right, yeah. And I was going to say that the reason the script is in place is because you know, regular everyday people don't know it's a script, and then they end up following the cues, and it's verbal cues. You answer the way that they want, and then you go down their path. But the thing is, if you already know the script, you could easily go off of it and say, all right, son.
About 2 weeks ago, I was sitting there, and the officer hands me his Glock. He said, what do you think about this? I was showing him, you know, stuff that I've got. It was kind of like, look at this. I just picked this bad boy up. And I said, that's a nice Glock. I said, well, can I see that? And he said, all right. And he hands me the Glock. I got him trusting me so much, he actually let me take his gun apart and look at it. I'm like, okay, this is cool.
That's crazy. That's not. You know what though? I many years ago, about 8 years ago, I was hitchhiking out of Kitchener-Waterloo in Ontario, and I was headed towards Hamilton, and well, I had to hitchhike because my bus ticket was no longer valid, so I had no money. So I was like, all right, screw this, I'm gonna hitchhike. Anyway, I'm on the highway, on the side. And I could see the flashing blue and red lights, and I'm like, oh, crap, someone's going to stop me. All right. So anyway, this OPP officer, Ontario Provincial Police, he stopped me. And I have to send, if this guy is ever listening to this podcast down the road, I have to give him kudos, and I'll tell you why. Because at first he was like, why are you on the highway hitchhiking? I said, well, because I have no other options, and I got to get to Hamilton one way or another. And he's like, well, get the fuck off my highway. I'm like, okay. So I hop a fence. I fall off on the other side because there's like this weird embankment. It was like at a 30-degree downward angle. And when I got on the other side of the fence, I fell down and did a tumble roll. And he's like, are you okay? I says, I'm okay. I'll be on my way now. He's like, what did you mean you have no other options? And I said, exactly what I said, officer. I have no other options. This is the only way I'm going to get to Hamilton. And it's like, well, I'm going to Highway 6. If you get in, I can take you there, and then I'll leave you to your own devices when you get there. I'm like, all right, that's cool.
Perfect.
So I hop the fence again. And I get into his car, and then we go, and then we start shooting the shit, and we start talking military, because, you know, being ex-infantry, I was like, okay, yeah, you know, we started talking shop, and by the time I got to the Highway 6 where he let me off, Buddy hands me a 20, and says, here, get yourself a sandwich and a beer when you get to where you gotta go, and you know. I mean, how many OPP officers give people $20 after they give them a ride? You know.
Yeah, it's either you have to act and look the part, or let them know that you're human. Because a lot of these guys are coming out from deployment, and they're coming back in and grabbing these jobs up because they're handing them out like candy, and they're still on that they got their training in their head. Everybody's an enemy combatant. everybody's an enemy combatant because who they had to deal with. When I mean, how many people did they deal with overseas that were supposedly normal people that were enemy combatants for them, but they looked just like everybody else. They were hitchhiking down the road. Next thing you know, they're you're whatever you're in's getting shot at. Everything's a threat, and they still have this ingrained in their mind, and they see everybody as a combatant and not a human being. And that's the biggest problem we're seeing with law enforcement now is that we've got people that have got post-traumatic stress syndrome going on with a badge and a gun, and they're looking at the world, the people in it, in their area as enemy combatants instead of human beings that they're there to serve and protect. And that's why they're beating up women, kicking and beating up pregnant women in front of their children. That's why they're tasing old men. It's like it's off the chain because the training is so hardcore that people have to go through, and some of these young guys just are stuck there. They're just stuck there, and they've got a gun and a badge and a squad car, and everybody they see is always the first. That's why you got them. They're either on their sidearm, they're ready to go, and all you're doing is walking down the street.
And a lot of them are on drugs too.
Some of them are. I mean, it's hard to say. I know some people come back with Demerol problems and stuff or whatever.
Like go pills type of shit.
Yeah.
Hey, police officers here in Edmonton actually got police officers in Edmonton here got caught for steroid use.
No, that doesn't surprise me. There's a lot of juicers in law enforcement. Yeah. No dick and no brain, but all muscle.
Like how they kind of when they're talking to you and they see you as a perpetrator or something, you have to kind of like prove yourself to be an actual person, not a perpetrator.
Yep.
Then it's like if they're on some sort of like speed or something like that, some sort of mind-altering perception, then they're not going to have any emotion.
Yes. Well, that's the one I found that breaks when I catch somebody that's like 28 years old, and I could just see it in them. I mean, you can tell right away. I'll ask them first off, how many tours? And that just snaps them right out, going, oh, 3. Where were you deployed? And that just then they will start talking, and they see you as, oh, you're one of us.
Yeah. And
it shoots their mindset straight over to, oh, this is a normal human being then. When you ask these questions, because you sound, you know what you're talking about. And that's it. Like we were talking about the cues. These guys have been trained to see certain things, certain patterns, and then on top of that, they have their law enforcement training to see things. So they've got that all running around in their head, and they see a guy that they think is making a quick lunge for the glove department because he's retarded. It's something you don't do in front of an officer, but some people do it. And his response was, when he was in the field, to get his weapon ready to defend himself, because you never know. Somebody might have a bomb strapped to him or a grenade. You don't know. And so their wires are crossed, and they see the 68-year-old guy that lunged for his glove department as an enemy combatant, and they're going to pull their sidearm out and start firing away. Boom, 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 and then it's on Alex Jones' channel because some bystander caught it on camera. It's amazing. Like right now, Illinois, the state of Illinois, I think it's going to go in 16. They're making it illegal for anybody to film the police. It's a felony if you film the police.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, that stuff is crazy.
They want to put cameras on the police.
Well, in California, they just passed a law that just went. Or they're actually voting on it again.
That's where I live. I'm in California.
But children will be forced, even if they are homeschooled or for religious reasons. They've thrown that out the window. The Constitution is gone. They have to be forced to be vaccinated. They will come and take your children from
they will.
you and
They will.
vaccinate them.
Or they'll just take your kids in general.
Yeah.
That's going to be on the bill. So to we get to vote on it.
What was it?
It hasn't passed. It's just it's going to be on the bill.
Yeah, I think they voted on it once already, something like that. Or am I mistaken?
Yeah, they voted on whether or not they're going to put it on the bill.
Okay, that's what they voted on. Okay, but yeah, I mean, these things are coming across. It's like dominoes. Just all the way down to the very end when you've got yourself Pol Pots and Lenin and Stalin and Hitler's. This is where it goes when the states.
Texas, man. In Texas, they have like 9 bills.
Yeah.
And some
it's
of
just
those
crazy.
Vaccinations with adults.
Yeah. What the hell is going on?
And then you got the Jade Helm scenario that's going on associated with Texas being a hostile territory.
Yeah.
On their map.
On the funny side, I've been to Texas a few times in my life, and I don't know. I've always kind of considered people from Texas, especially Dallas-Fort Worth, or especially Houston.
It's not the people in Texas, man. It's the people that are getting put there.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's it's just basically they're might as well just burn the Constitution because it doesn't matter anymore to them. They do not care. They will pass laws that violate all of
they're going to reveal themselves as the Nazis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the Nazis, they know what? The Nazis never went away. We just the United States brought them over.
For instance, Haplo, are you a sovereign person? You seem like a sovereign person.
Yes.
Okay, can you explain to the audience the sovereignty and how it works and all that? What it means?
I'm not great at explaining that.
Well, I could kind of help you if you want.
I could pull up the script, but
yeah.
I'm not really great at explaining that.
Well, I know it has to do with basically telling. There's a lot of paperwork you have to do, but basically you're telling the law that you don't follow it anymore in its understanding because it's the law of the sea, and you are following the law of the land. The law of the land is I am born on this land, and the whole land is mine. And you don't own it. You don't own me. And that's but you also, by doing that, do not get any benefits, whatever that means, from the so-called government anymore. Like, in a sense, you shouldn't. I don't know how it works as far as do you go to the supermarket and you know what I mean? I mean, is that essentially the same thing? I mean.
Oh no. You can have certain inalienable rights.
You don't go to the bank anymore. I mean, I don't use banks anyway except for cashing my checks. But I mean,
I just grab my my cash from my workplace. I get cashed out. That is something I do.
You said doo-doo.
Doo-doo. I do, but I don't have a bank account. I do see a doctor every once in a while, but I can't go to the VA.
You have to see a doctor. When you go see a doctor, they require a bunch of paperwork. Essentially, if you're a sovereign, you're not going to have that paperwork.
There are medical practitioners that will see people without having to have you registered in their human registry system, which I will go see a physician, and there are 2 physicians that I work with that do work with me without a problem.
Do they require any kind of money up front or anything for services, or?
I ask them how much it's going to be, for just a consult and talk to them. And generally, it's I think the last time I went, I think I spent a half hour there, and they charged me $30, something like that. It's like $10 every 10 minutes.
Yeah, but what if you actually have some sort of problem, like an accident, or you lose a limb, or break something?
Well, that's the thing. The way the system's set up they're going to take you to, if you lose a limb, you have an accident, say I get hit by a car and my arm gets halfway torn off, no matter who you are, even an illegal alien, I mean, this is the way it works. We've got illegal aliens coming up from the south, let's just say, and from all places, from anywhere in the world. We got people that are not registered, and
Okay.
they get hit by a car. An ambulance is going to come pick them up, going to take them to the hospital, and they're going to patch them up.
That's right.
They're not going to leave you dead. Oh, well, he doesn't have his paperwork. Let's push the body off to the side. No, they're not.
Yeah, but they do
that.
that with
It does depend what state. It depends what state and city you're in, though. Some places will actually say, "Oh, you don't have any documentation."
No, it's insurance. Where I live, like if you don't have insurance, they kick you out.
Oh yeah, yeah, but still, if you're having a stroke, let's just say, and in the emergency room, and you're in the position you're in, they have to treat you. Hippocratic oath. Many doctors still swear on that one more than anything
that
else.
goes back to Rosicrucians, which strangely I was told about sovereignty by a Rosicrucian.
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, I don't want to change the subject. We can keep this going. I do want to announce though that in about 3 hours I'm going to do and conduct a Skype test on the new platform that I've been working on. If you guys are interested.
I cannot wait. Robert, I've been so excited about this website. I've been keeping up with it.
So you're putting something together to go outside of Google?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I'm in.
All right, cool. Listen, I will supply links and shit. I kind of trying to get something else working. I kind of blew up all of my audio settings and shit, so I kind of fucked shit up. So it might take me a couple hours to get it going back. But I did a successful Skype test. I did a very successful broadcast yesterday. Very, very, very quick and dirty, but it works. Using some different software and what have you. However, all you guys have to do, like the listeners, that is just go and listen, and the links will be supplied. So stand by for that. But anyone else who wants to take part, get your Skype ready. I'm going to set up a secondary account for Save the Silly Humans, and get that operational. So stand by for that, guys.
Cool. That works.
Cool.
But when I would go back and say the Rosicrucians is something like that, but not exactly like that.
No, it's like essentially Rosicrucians were like the original doctors that would say, "Hey, I'll do this for you, and you don't have to pay me."
It's something like that, but not exactly from what
But
I've
then they
discovered.
formed into like more of a secret society.
Yeah, well, it's strange because things have changed just in the past 25 years. Strange occurrences have happened. Like if you look up the medical symbol that's being used now, the snakes crawling around the little winged pole, that the medical symbol, that wasn't always like that. That has just recently been changed to that. And
didn't the original
UN and everything, right? Because it's all about the UN.
Didn't the original symbol, did it arise from dentistry?
That's it.
I can hear Haplo just typing away.
Oh yeah.
I gotta pull this up here. Original medical symbol.
You can screen share it if you want, Haplo.
Let me see. I gotta find it. Because what happens when you try to find the original symbol, it shoots you straight to the symbol that's being used now.
Yeah,
it's almost like it's been stripped. I have to dig for it to find the original symbol that was used for medical practice. And
well, you know what it looks like.
Well, you know what? You could find it to dig. Find the original oath.
Yeah, that's it. The original oath. Not bad.
To do no further harm.
Yeah.
The Golden Dawn also, like, has the Rosicrucian stuff in it.
The Golden Dawn basically is an offshoot of the Rosicrucians.
Well, they're like the secret society of the Rosicrucians.
Yeah.
Like more so.
Rosicrucians are kind of like the
Theosophical philosophy.
Yeah, the ones on top that house themselves in the big brick buildings with all the books.
Yeah.
Let's see, Rod of Rod. All right. I am so horrible at pronouncing this.
So you guys got to see last 2 days ago's the last episode with all the numbers and all that.
Which one?
I watched it.
Show? Which show?
The last episode 11, with the numbers.
Of what show? Of numbers.
Okay.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
That was an
the
interesting
numbers.
show, actually. I kind of
Yeah.
enjoyed that one.
I did too.
Just by myself, practically. It was funny, but yeah, I mean that's my notes. I basically try to find all the decoders essentially that are out there that are doing that, and take their information and put it in notes and try to correlate them together because I can see the connection, and they're all different formulations, so they're never going to see the connections because they're all formulated on certain formulas, the people that are working on them. Like you got Matthew Nicholson, who's working on like the beast system of mirroring and taking the primes numbers and then the sum of division and mirroring those and then getting like the Saturn number, which is like this 969 thing, which is like the speed of Saturn. So like correlating everything to what is the Saturn matrix. And then you got Zachary Hubbard, who is like working on all the everything that's going on currently and has been going on for a couple of years, on like a blog, breaking down like every event that like he comes across that like is basically pushed on us like newsworthy in a media perception, and then breaks them down gematria wise.
Yeah, he does a good job.
Yeah, my thing is just a little bit of information that he has. It's like I've been taking that, I break it down even further and actually do other words and stuff that he doesn't do because I want to see all of the correlations, and I believe that there's other words that lead to other words in a sense that, like he connects sums to other sums in a sense, where I'm starting to see as I'm breaking down other words that there's other number sums that will equal other number sums that he didn't focus on, and they have no correlation with what we were doing before. So it's like another code in itself. And I'm like into codes anyway. I in the past, when I was in school and you had to do like a book report or something, I was like really focused on like the Zodiac killer, because he had the codes. And I wanted to break those codes. It was very fascinating to me. Plus, it was like kind of close by. It was in California. So that whole like system made me search all of the codes that are out there, and I came across the code breakers and the whole connection to that, and also of course the older codes, which we call what we were talking about, the 24 text, and but those are basically codes, they're just visual. The codes we have now, essentially, we're always there, is just only the people that are initiated get to know it. Unless you're like us and we search for it, So that is what Zachary Hubbard's doing. He's been searching it out and putting it out there, and what he's noticed is there's definitely a pattern that's obvious once you start doing that. Then you have, Enter the Stars, who does the 88 research associated with code breaking on movies and cinema, different music and such, like entertainment in Hollywood. And I'm working on, collecting all of his information and putting it in those kind of note formats so I can break it down, because he does a lot of that and puts them onto videos and stuff. So that's going to be another one later on, and I'm going to try to get him on so we could talk about it in the future. But the putting all those together would be awesome. You know, if I can get all three of those people at the same time, that would be cool to like, and then we can talk to them. You know what I mean? And then have them kind of correlate their own like issues or research back and forth with how their number schemes work, because they're completely different formulas. But they're all on the same thing. They're all in the D system. Anyway, you have anything to say about that?
I don't think so.
That's hilarious. Well, what did you think, Capital? You saw it, right? What did you think of all of the correlations, how they connected and stuff?
What, numbers?
Yeah.
The show? Was it the show with the FBI agent with his brother?
What are you talking about?
Wrong numbers. I probably have never seen it then. There might be two different shows then.
I'm talking about a show called Numbers.
Yeah, the show Numbers. It's just called Numbers.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about that. I was saying last episode that I worked on, that we did the gematria. We worked on gematria.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was your
you
last
guys-
podcast.
There was a show called Numbers that was actually pretty
Yeah,
cool.
there was. That's true. Or I think there still is. Isn't it still on?
No, it's been dropped.
Yeah, I think
It got canceled.
Okay, if we're talking shows, everybody needs to watch Jericho. Press,
I have seen Jericho.
dude, Press
Yeah.
led me into it. Now I'm like, they're talking about the Walmarts that they set up FEMA camps in the Walmart parking lot. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Of course, Press set you on that one.
Yeah. It's good. It's good.
It's all right. It's okay. Actually, it's kind of funny because you got the what's his face from 90210. Oh Christ, what's that?
Priestley?
Priestley, yes, Priestley's on it.
Priestley.
And then you got the black dude from
Theo.
Theo. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Is that who that is?
That's who it is.
Oh, my gosh. Didn't even know.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, they're doing like a,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
it's like an ostensibly kind of it's kind of along the similar lines of Revolution.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Totally. It was like a
Without the
revolution
without the nanites or the
without the nanites and stuff. It was more of a realistic type of like perception, but dramatized to the extreme.
Yeah, really, really, really badly. Especially when they brought in the other guy from 90210, and then he was a total fucking basket case. The Dylan character. What was his name?
No.
Have you guys?
I don't
I'm sorry. Go
remember.
ahead. Oh, have you guys seen that new like The Last Man on Earth or whatever? Like it's like a comedy.
Oh, I never seen that
Oh,
one.
didn't that just start? Didn't that
Yeah.
show just start? Yeah, I haven't gotten to watch any of
Fourth
it.
episode, I think. And it's funny, but it's definitely like kind of giving you a
Heads up on stuff.
no, more of a I don't know how to explain it. It's like basically jokes around about the end of the world, like where there's no more people, you know, and what you can do and how you can do it and stuff in like a kind of comedy manner, but in the same sense as, you know, it doesn't explain how any of these people aren't there. There's no like the destruction that you can see. They're still able to use like electricity and cars and stuff, different stuff they can't use, you know, and they joke around about that. So it's very like a mockery on, I think, the what do you call it, the post-apocalyptic perception.
Well, and it's interesting they're getting all these shows out with all of this predictive programming to, I don't even know what they're trying to do.
But it's not really The Last Man. There's like a couple of other people that show up, so you know
Yeah.
they're just.
They've been doing it for a long time. I remember all those 70 movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
With the like Road Warrior and stuff like that.
Well, no. You know what? Hey guys.
Mad Max again.
I have to rely, guys. I have to say, like, look. I mean, I think a lot of us get a little bit overindulgent on the concept of predictive programming. Sometimes a director or a producer, writer, whatever, will
Get that a good story.
just to be completely artistic and
Yeah.
get a concept out. And it's not necessarily predictive programming.
Right.
It might be somebody's insight into what the future might entail, you know, based on his own perception. However, some movies are definitely predictive programming. I mean, I will give you this example. Anything that Ronald Moore puts out,
Yeah.
i.e. fucking Helix, or even Battlestar Galactica, the re-envisioned series. I put Battlestar. I loved the show. Believe me, I fucking loved it. But I will say that Battlestar Galactica, the new series that came out and it's ended, of course. That was Ronald Moore, and guess what? That was polytheism versus monotheism versus fucking transhumanism. A whole whack of shit going on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that's predictive programming. And that guy also touched on Helix. And Ronald Moore also had a little bit of a hand in Deep Space Nine as well.
But you know, I think Ronald Moore is actually the guy that is the understudy of the Satanist that wrote the graphic novel for what the hell is the name of the movie? You know that mask that they always use now, like anonymous stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
V for Vendetta.
V for Vendetta. It's based off of a graphic novel written by a pronounced, professing Satanist, and Moore is an understudy of him.
Really, I didn't
I
know
didn't
that.
know that.
But yeah, everything Ronald Moore seems to touch turns into transhumanism, and then you look at the show Caprica.
Yep.
That delved into things
That was like put yourself in a computer.
Put yourself into a computer and live in an altered state inside of virtual reality. And
that, like, oh no,
like,
no,
I mean,
you know what though? That's also the idea behind the life mapping, right? Because you can take the life mapping that they do in Japan with the GoPros and all that.
With metadata, yes.
Yeah.
Use metadata.
Put it in like they did in that in transhumanism. I mean, not trans. What was that called? Transcendence, right? And then take that information and take it and create the person like they did in Caprica, right? In the computer, and then take that persona, that avatar, and then take it like they did in
and push it back out into the real world.
and then put it into a machine.
Yep.
Put that
Wait a minute.
in a machine, which is what they did in Chappie.
Yes, I haven't seen Chappie yet, and I want to see that just so I can see where it's going, because I completely got the same vibe from it.
Well, you know what? Let's just say the trailer of Chappie is misleading to timelines.
Really?
Yeah,
I was wrong.
Like,
by
I
the
saw
way.
the trailer after I watched the movie again, and I realized how they trick you into thinking that one thing's before another when it's after.
Huh.
It's very interesting.
Well,
Now I gotta
and
go
then-
watch the trailer.
Because think about, trailers are very, like, those are the things that actually, get you to go watch the movie, and that is got the predictive programming in it right there. They like put all the stuff they want you to see in the movie.
To get you to want to see the movie means to me, for me to download it illegally. But yeah, okay, I get what you mean.
Power. Word.
Yeah,
Why pay for it?
The same idea behind, they just want you to watch the movie because that's where you get the programming from.
Yeah, why pay for programming when you can get it for free? That's why they haven't busted us yet.
Well, you know what I always end up doing? I go and I find the movie, I download it, and then I sit there and I keep pausing it, unpausing it, then I run it through programs to run it backwards, forwards, break it apart, and I end up really kind of grabbing a gist of the movie from reading about it, but I'm usually just picking it apart, going back and forth. What the hell did she just say? What was that? What are these crazy people trying to get me to think? That's how I always end up breaking stuff down. It's crazy. But I was wrong about something real quick. It's Alan Moore that wrote V for Vendetta, and he is the professing Satanist. That's where I got the Moore from.
If you look at Ronald Moore, though, he's got extensive history with shit.
Never mind, go ahead.
So, yeah, I was going to say Ronald Moore, though, if you look at his history, he's got an extensive history with things like with Battlestar and with Helix, and there's a few other bits that there's a lot of other bits that he's been associated with, and they all deal with these things that we're talking about.
Robert, didn't he do the V? The new V?
Yes, he did.
See, there you go.
And why would you fuck with something that was so well done in the 80s? Like, that was awesome. Back in the 80s,
but you know how they had that screen with the ship that was totally showing us something there.
Totally.
Yeah,
absolutely. I agree. And at the very end, when it got shut down, at the very end of season 2, guess what they did? They blotted out the skies with red clouds.
Yeah. That was a really interesting show. I liked that show.
But I'm just saying though, all our talks about chemtrails and everything else, and then they suddenly canceled the show. But guess what? At the very end, they blotted out. And going back to your reference with the Wachowski brothers production of the Animatrix, when they showed in the Second Renaissance how they blocked out the sky with the black clouds to stifle the energy production of the machines. Same thing.
Remember, Highlander, the one where he travels through time.
Yeah, I remember Highlander.
He's the one who ends up creating this blotting out the sky thing because of something that happens with the sun or something. And remember, they ended up having this black kind of weird lines going through the sky.
Oh yeah.
That's like some predictive programming for chemtrails.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was like Highlander Part 434 or something like that.
The time one where he travels through time.
Mm-hmm.
Another show that you guys have to think about is Quantum Leap.
Oh my gosh.
Scott Bakula.
Dude.
He lived as a human on that episode or that version, that movie or whatever. He lived as a human, and then he killed one of the things to get the quickening, and then he went back in time. So there was a whole, if you think that was the future, that was what they're showing us there, and as living as a human, not as a immortal.
You know what about predictive programming? I like the old 1971 film THX 1138.
Oh, George Lucas. at his university finest.
Yeah, it's like, if that's not predictive programming. I mean, you look at the corresponding between Apple. If you watch videos of these people coming down and how Apple looks, and then you look at what the THX 1138 background scene looks like, it's kind of scary and spooky.
Well, he was just an upstart. Maybe Apple just decided to base everything off of that.
That could be predictive programming. Apple decided to run with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, George Lucas was just a university student at the time. He was just an upstart film guy. You gotta remember, man. We are all human. We're all artists. I mean, I have a story called the Echelon Agreement. 5 years down the road, if I ever get this fucking thing going out, are people going to tell me that that's predictive programming? Because I'll punch a fucking hole in their cocksucker.
Yeah, I wrote a book too.
You know what I mean?
Hopefully nobody would say that. Oh,
I looked up Echelon. That didn't seem good.
Well, that's the reason why I chose the title.
I figured that it's like my pure porn propaganda thing.
Right. Well, and see, a lot of us have that stuff, but everybody will take it the wrong way.
About it.
Yeah.
It's like a joke to us.
Well, that's just it. I've been working on the story for about at least 15 years now, and I still haven't been able to make a go of it because I'm a poor ass motherfucker. I don't have any money. I have no way to get it out there. But
you got to sell your soul to Satan, man.
No, I won't. I won't do it. I'll die first.
Thank
you. Good for you, Robert. Good for you. Proud of you there.
Oh, wait a minute. What is it? Actually, was it sell your soul to Oprah?
Oh, she's a stand-in now, eh?
Mm-hmm. She is, actually.
Or Lucy for short. Did you get that? I said he prefers to be called Lucifer or Lucy for short.
Yeah, we call actually in some of our groups we call him Lucy too. So.
Well, you know that there's that movie Lucy. That had a lot
I
of
saw
critics.
that. That was really weird. It wasn't as good
That
as I thought it was going to be.
is
I'll be right back,
predictive
guys.
programming.
Yeah, oh, definitely, especially with the black.
I was saying become
Ew.
one with the blackness.
Yeah.
Over the past 10 years, anything with what the hell, Morgan Freeman in it
Yes.
is predictive programming.
Oh
Hey,
yes.
did you-
Anything-
I get these vibes that Morgan Freeman is actually the
I
cult
watched
leader
a
in
lot of
Hollywood.
those episodes.
Yeah, he might be the cult leader. You never know. Have you seen the movie Now You See Me? It's about magic or whatever.
Yeah.
I've seen
Part
some
of
of it. I haven't watched the whole thing yet.
Oh, it's good.
But what I've seen of it definitely looks like it's trying to say that the magicians are actually using dark magic.
Yeah.
Which is the Lords of Illusions in my mind.
Well, there's a channel on YouTube, Zinderus, and this
yes.
person completely goes ape crazy and exposes the impossibility of these tricks that these people are doing.
Yeah.
Like there's like this Korean magician that goes around doing incredibly crazy stuff on the street, like changing water to Coke in a bottle.
Oh
and
man,
it's
that
Coke.
was so bizarre.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff. And there's a few other Japanese guy, some English guys, and this person, female or male, I'm not sure. Zenderis is like exposing this, and you're sitting there going, "Yeah, how the hell did they do that?"
Yeah, I believe that that's
What
something.
about Chris Angel? Do you think he was like just a dark magician or something, and he was using all that stuff, or it was just using illusion?
No, it's hard to say. Now, have you ever thought about this? There's a little.
He
trick
had a lot
to
of
think of.
symbols. You look at what he wears, and
Yeah.
you know.
Yep. Check this out, though. Have you ever thought about the correlation between a computer and a Ouija board?
Never thought about it. Do tell.
The little thingy that you use that moves around looks like a mouse. The whole thing has a keyboard on it, and it has numbers on top, and it has all of the codes on the side.
Oh.
It looks like a damn keyboard.
I
Huh?
wonder if maybe we're actually communicating, like if we, you know how you think we're in like a kind of a matrix thing, like
Well,
or a
there's some-
simulation.
Yeah,
Well,
there's something funny.
I consider that a possibility, so I'm not.
Hang on. I got. You know what's funny? Sorry, I had to cut in here. I don't mean to cut you off here, porn, but yeah. You know what? When my keyboard on my laptop fucking stopped working, I was like, shit, what am I gonna do? So I installed Virtual Keyboard, and I had to use my mouse to do it. And I was like, my God, this is just like Ouija board.
Thank you. Yeah, it's
Wow.
weird. There
No,
are
I
some,
totally
Yes or no?
there's some ex wizards that have come out, and they've actually, these are the people that have come over to Christianity, and they are talking about astral projecting to a highly technological spiritual city, but it's a real city, but exists on another dimension under the ocean, and all of this stuff is computerized, and there are powers, principalities, all of that stuff that's mentioned, and there's several like witches and wizards and some warlocks that have come out and said we got out of this, and this is what's going on, and their story, they don't even know each other, and their stories are almost identical.
Have you ever heard of a term of what's called basically spatial compression or dimensional compressionality? Basically what it is, it's virtual reality, and virtual reality exists either in a dream state, whether it be through your pineal gland or just by going to Second Life. Because guess what?
Yeah.
In a digital space, you can recreate four-dimensional time-space, and all it does is exist on the hard drive.
Yeah.
Now,
You know what I heard that was
And-
very
and-
interesting?
hang on, and with the Brandon and Braga thing there on Star Trek: The Next Generation, they touched on that when they recreate things on the holodeck, and then they suddenly save it on a hard drive and plug it in, and guess what? We can create multi-dimensions right now
Yeah.
Hey,
digitally.
You know what I heard?
remember
was
Tron,
a
how
very-
he communicated with the guy on the outside?
Oh yeah, Tron. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
kind of like
that's
like
true.
if we're on the outside, we're typing.
Tron was totally predictive programming.
What? Yeah, tell
Yeah.
me about it. That's Disney. That's all predictive programming from
That's
Disney.
Disney for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, check this out. This is a theory that I heard from a quantum physicist that was a atheist that said there's no way. I finally got to the point where there was no way that this couldn't have this could not be created. This is not an accident, and started realizing that this is impossible. What people are proposing. So he kind of started believing, he was more like a deist in his mindset, that something had to have been created. He said, what I have discovered with my colleagues, and all of his colleagues decided to become deists too, is that the appearance is that there are 13 dimensions, and it looks as if a one reality was ripped or torn asunder at one point and turned into 13 different realities that interact with each other on interesting quantum physical levels and quantum physics. And he says then it's a very eerie, the correlation between the tree of life and the Kabbalah and what they're discovering in quantum physics. And I'm sitting here thinking, damn, that's weird.
The Kabbalah essentially explains quantum physics on a kind of layman scale, like, but the Kabbalah also is like code, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's essential, or basically a cipher. In my mind, it's a cipher for the which is the code key for the what do you call it, the Torah and the and then the Talmud. And the
well, the Talmud, that's like the book of evil for the Jewish book of evil.
Yeah, straight out of Babylon to you.
Yeah.
You know the Grimoire? Also the Grimoire, which is like, you know, the one that King Solomon supposedly got, allegedly.
Yep.
There's a lot to it.
It was like more created from information.
Well, like I said, there's so many things, and I think it's like there's a little bit of truth in your fiction and a little bit of fiction in your truth, and almost everything. It's like trying to find a stack of needles in a stack of needles, and then trying to find one needle in those two stacks, or millions of stacks.
I'm just gonna go onto my Facebook because I saved it in my notes there, and it's a story actually. It's an excerpt from a story that I started writing many years ago called "Memoirs of a Time Traveling Idiot." And hang on, let me find that. You guys go ahead, banter on. I'll be right here. I'm going to find it, and I'm going to read it to you guys. It's fucking hilarious. Because I talk about 16-dimensional superspace, and it's very, very similar to what we're talking about here.
Cool. Well, the other thing that this quantum physicist was speaking on was that they've been able to figure out there's 13 dimensions, but there is a main dimension that is outside of all 13 dimensions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like this literally was torn, a reality that was created was torn into pieces to keep things in their place for a period of time.
That makes sense.
And what's happening, things between CERN and other things, is that our knowledge is increasing. That's very evident, and it's doubling and tripling, quadrupling.
There's a verse that
on a
says
daily
that.
basis, exactly. And we're figuring out how to bring them back together.
I think it's definitely going to eventually happen.
The dark matter.
Yeah,
that's what the CERN is about. Yeah, they're trying to find out the glue that holds the house together, and they're trying to take it apart and put it back together, and it all revolves around dark matter.
Yeah, dark matter.
Okay. I found it. Okay. You got to remember, the story here, Memoirs of a Time Traveling Idiot, is actually my own personal kind of a... It's my tip of my hat to Douglas Adams, who wrote, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is my introduction to memoirs. Whether it be accurate or not, I don't really give a flying fuck. And neither did Douglas Adams, because when he invented the improbability drive,
The improbability drive.
Yeah. Guess what?
I think the probability machine makes sense.
He didn't even know what he was talking about, but he was awesomely fucking
Well,
correct
probably-
because it described exactly what quantum observation is about.
Yeah, totally.
So anyway,
Well,
I'm going to read this to you. It's a little bit long-winded, so you guys are going to have to work with me on this.
Okay.
All right. Wormholes are peculiar, rather quirky manifestations of existence. They bind 2 points in space, rather sarcastically, even to such an extent that they try their very best to throw away the entire idea of logic and fundamental physics, rendering the concepts of such spatial dimensional theories as silly constructs of our egotistical ideals that try to prove logic actually, well, they have some relevance. The actual truth behind logic is that there is no real relevance whatsoever, because far too many things are happening all at once for there to be any actual order. Therefore, so many systems are fighting for control, or more appropriately, competing for attention, that the entire idea behind physics, to be best explained, is a room with approximately 16 children under the age of 12 billion running around a parallelogram-shaped room in a 14-degree slope, with absolutely no parental guidance whatsoever, all sharing a common caffeine buzz. That isn't to say that logical analysis isn't a good place to start. Without an ordered concept of thinking, one would never expect us to, let's say, find a way to make pi work out to a whole number, or to figure out why hot dog buns are sold in 6-packs and hot dogs are sold in 8-packs. The hot dog issue is actually far more complex, because no matter how you cut it, hot dog buns and their dogs they always exist in 3 dimensions, whereas pi is a construct based on a 2-dimensional representation. 2-dimensional objects will never exist, and will never be decent tools for figuring out real-world issues. Funny how when brought into 3 dimensions, engineering issues realize pi and things just seem to work out. This is proven quite simply that the need for whole numbers is just as ludicrous as eating a couple of bunless hot dogs. This brings us back to wormholes. Late in the 23rd century, it was proven that traveling through wormholes is actually a form of time travel, merely because of the time saved by traveling through them. Later, about 2 weeks after, it was proven that just because one could save time by traveling through a wormhole, it doesn't mean that you're actually traveling through time at all. You're merely spanning a bunch of space instead, which was the 20th century concept to begin with. This created an idea that philosophy merged with quantum physics was also a form of time travel, but only in the form of metaphysical perspective. This idea was scrapped soon after, when a wormhole to the 20th century was found, and once again wormholes became a form of time travel. How does one create a wormhole? Well, you have to find a subatomic particle, split that, create an energy output so powerfully expansive that it tears a hole in 16-dimensional superspace. You also have to create a tear so predictable that you would know where and when the other end of the hole was. The only particle that you could split that would result in a space-time tears are superstrings. These things are very, very tiny. In fact, so very tiny and very, very tiny that it has been determined that you could spend 100 million lifetimes trying to target a single superstring. And even then, you may only catch a quick glimpse of it before it vibrates away into the cosmos. The only man who has ever shown this ability was Cruz Turung, who was heralded as the power of time, interdimensional travel, and interventional policies regarding the aforementioned technologies. Cruz Turung, by the way, if you do your research, Turung is actually a Portuguese word for control. So yes, the main character's name is Cruz Control. He was able to target superstrings with rather nifty inventions. The superstring microscope. This rather nifty invention had scientists everywhere pawning off their electron microscopes just to find out that the trade-in value of their outdated equipment had only 10% return value. The superstring microscope was so very complex in its design that in order to afford one, you would have to trade in several electron microscopes, or the entire radio telescope array in Arecibo, New Mexico. This actually has SETI observers very concerned, because they had finally just come to grips on the operations of the radio telescopes when Teddy Vandelbroth, the main financier of the SETI program, decided that he was bored of the non-eventual radio space noise that the scope gathered and wanted a superstring microscope instead. When he found out that all he would be able to do were when he found out that all he would be able to see were high-resolution images of subatomic substructures, he was again very bored and decided that he was selfishly making a bad idea. This relieved the study researchers very much, and they continued listening to eventful radio space noise in relative peace and quiet. Cruz invented the superstring microscope in order to view the anatomy of a cork in pristine detail at a very high resolution. During an early experiment, he accidentally crushed a superstring when the targeting scanners experienced an overwhelmingly large energy surge from a faulty surge suppressor. Unfortunately, Cruz purchased that power bar from the local dollar store. Even though he was on a rather tight budget, he promised himself he would never again buy surge suppressors from the local dollar store. It turned out that this was actually a very big moment for Cruz. Not only was he able to crush a figment of theoretical quantum physics, he was also responsible for creating a wormhole to a period 5 minutes prior to his blunder. Normality is defined by what is relatively perceived as not being abnormal. To the layman, normal would be not seeing yourself blunder a science experiment in the hopes of inventing a device that could be later purchased by trading in the radio telescope in Arecibo, New Mexico. This is exactly what Cruz did, though. He witnessed himself from across the room after materializing a quarter of a meter in midair, falling onto his feet, punch buttons, flip switches, talk to himself, and then suddenly disappear as a vortex of energy surrounded him, vaporizing himself instantly. Looking at his watch, he noticed that he was suddenly 5 minutes faster than his clock was in the lab. Cruz suddenly felt that he was onto something. He was also quite grateful that he wasn't vaporized at all. Yet the vaporization of his doppelganger was quite disturbing. This was all well elaborated in the preface of the book he wrote, Mending the Fabric of Space and Time, and How I Saved a Tray of Ashtrays and a Pint of Beer from Pre-Pending Doom. After the initial shock wore off, he realized two things. He just invented time travel. The other thing was that one must account for planetary rotation when time traveling, or they'll appear in any other location. Cruz was quite excited about this sudden realization, but he was also quite old. He wasn't quite old as a result of these experiments. He was quite old simply from being old himself. Poor bastard. Because of Jada Malarkey. Sorry, this is going into a totally different part of the story, which you guys have no idea about. Because of Jada Malarkey, he wasted every chance in his youth of inventing time travel. He was, in fact, on the doorstep of success as early as the age of 26, but spent 32 years missing the doormat, till one day his hip stopped him from going to the pub. That was the day he finally succeeded in designing the superstring microscope. Ironically, his success in discovering time travel was due to his decision to buy a power bar at the dollar store in order to have another bit of cash at the pub while being drunker than a barfly with a running tab. Anyway, in lieu of all this, though, we will explain how he changed his own past, created his own worst enemy. In the next few chapters, you will have to forget what you currently accept as temporal theoretics. The next few chapters will tell you how it actually works, as it is also recorded in the works of Cruz Strong's memoirs.
Yay, that was awesome, man.
I like that.
That was cool.
Is there any more?
No, there's a lot more, but not in this. No.
I love how you use it. There's a lot more.
So,
Actually,
hey,
the actual story is this: is that the guy, the main character, actually, through accident, discovers time travel and decides to go back in time to his younger self, gives himself the secret, and then his younger self, being an idiot, decides to replicate the experiment, and then fractures the time-space dimensional fabric into 186 parallel dimensions, and completely obfuscates everyone's fucking existence.
nice.
Oops.
Well, I would like to do a little thing. It's not a story. It's kind of like a poem, I guess, but it's not really a poem. I don't know. I'll just go at it. It's called The Struggle of Sanity. On a late night in the darkness, the torch of life was lit to prevent the struggle of sanity. The sad ones needed to lessen the stress of droning away in order to see the truth. Then they reduced the pressure to exploit the sufferers for what they truly were, slaved ones. These monstrous structures were tearing through the sky as sadness clouded over the land. Stocky homes become ghosts to the vicious ones. They were full of greed and pride. By fulfilling their fussy attempt at power, the inborn one came. Out of their greed it arose from the ground, like a mushroom reaching towards the heavens. The torch went out. While their buildings began to fall, they were living corrupt lives. The elite was right to be determined. The ravenous survived death while feeling the final blow. By satisfying their hunger for blood, they could survive through the Holocaust and wouldn't starve. Only those injustices were affecting the logical mind, utterly devoid of emotion. The travelers then arose to discover the new land of the dark, and the torch was lit. That's it.
That's cool.
Yeah. That kind
Very
of
cool.
gives me like an idea of the plot line to the end seasons of Fringe.
Oh, I love Fringe.
Yeah, those weird people from the future that were interdimensional travelers.
The Observers.
The Observers. And yeah, it kind of makes me think that that's kind of what the elite are looking at. This is their paradise. To be something like that.
There's something to be said about that because I mean, if we go back to like the 1950s and what have you, and was it the Philadelphia experiment and a few other things. We may. This is out there for the esoteric and what have you, but there are possibilities that we may have opened the door to things that we have no idea.
It's funny you mentioned the Philadelphia experiment. It never ended.
Yeah, the Montauk.
Once it got started, it doesn't end because if we opened up a doorway to the future, then it didn't end.
That's right.
No, but also the Montauk Project's connected.
Ah.
Because in the Montauk experiment, the dude ends up opening a portal, and at the same time, there was a UFO that was like attracted to it, so it ended up getting sucked into the portal and getting sent back in time.
Yeah, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a sneak preview into the Echelon Agreement storyline. One of the bits in it is that one of our main characters in my story actually gets assigned to go and retrieve and destroy or retrieve rather the bell from Nazi Germany back in 1938.
Oh, cool.
And and it goes horribly bad, and he ends up going like well into the future, into the 2032, where it breaks down just like my 1994 Ford Explorer, and then he has to pick it back up and comes back and ends up in 1968.
Oops.
Yeah. But the thing is that he's also actually a hybrid. He's a hybrid alien that's been basically one of the 13 aliens that have been sitting here watching over mankind. But they've all gone rogue, every single one of them, because their home planet has been destroyed back in Alpha Centauri. And the Zeta Reticulans that were at war with them in the first place flushed them all out, so there's only 13 here. But when the Mintaka return, they kick everybody off the planet, just allow 13 to watch over mankind. But all 13 of them decide to go rogue.
Interesting.
It's a pretty crazy storyline. Oh man, I can't wait to get the Echelon Agreement out. It's a great fucking story. It's really fun, and it's completely fictional, guys.
Hey, when you make your couple millions, can I be part of your entourage?
Absolutely. I'd have it no other way.
Hanging back, man, trying to figure out some stuff.
I don't know how I'm going to make millions off of fiat currency when shit goes to hell, but yeah, sure, yeah.
You know what? I've thought about that too. It's like, it could be worse, but if there's groups of people like us, man, we could figure out some rally points.
Yeah.
Shit does hit the fan. Get together. We can put some stuff together. Make something work.
I'll tell you this right now, man. One of the great spots to be will be Kelowna, British Columbia.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Welcome, Renaissance.
Hey, what's up?
Renaissance.
Renaissance.
Change your name, huh?
Well, Robert has me blocked from my other name, so I have to come in on this name.
Uh-huh.
How you doing,
Try.
you Masonic motherfucker?
Gosh, I'm a good guy, bro. You can check my deeds.
Check my ID. Well, it's the question of who issued your ID that's the problem.
I did from my heart,
Oh, okay.
I think people get the whole thing, the Masonic thing, just they run with it. They create something in their heads and they're like, okay, if they're doing this, then he's doing this, and they just go with it. That's totally not the case.
Yeah, I don't care. I really don't care what
I understand.
people are and what people do. Hey, listen, I'm in the middle of talking. I don't care what people do or what people say, but where your intentions lie, I have questions, because every single time you get on board, we stop talking about what we were talking about.
What were you talking about? You know my motto. Let's talk solutions.
No, yeah, well, I got solutions. I got solutions for a new broadcasting medium.
Yeah.
Cool. No, my solutions, the solutions that I'm talking about, is because I don't know. A lot of times I feel like what goes on is called intellectual masturbation, and it's not people trying to get on and figure out how we can stop this problem. It's how we can get on and say something that we believe, because we don't know it. A lot of people get on, they talk about the stars and what's not, but they don't own a telescope. They're not calculating anything. They're just talking about what they believe, and they're making it sound fantastic, and it's all in a fantasy state of mind. I mean, it's compared to Lord of the Rings. But what I'm saying is not everyone does that, but for the most part, that's what goes on. And I'm just saying, like, okay, how about we address issues that we can change so we can beat this machine? I mean, I noticed last time the topic was flat Earth. Like, okay, how about this? We devise a plan to beat the elites, because once we do that, all secrets get revealed.
We haven't talked about flat Earth. What's your perspective of flat Earth?
Come again?
We haven't really talked about flat Earth. I mean, what I think I threw on a couple of episodes ago was like that I was checking into it a little bit because I came across a video and I realized that they don't actually think there's an edge. It just keeps on going.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of with the thing with the flat Earth, I wasn't saying that. You were talking about that. That was on a different show. But I was like, why are we talking about silly things? Like, I'm not saying that it's silly in the sense. I'm just talking
silly.
about
Flat Earth is silly. I mean, like, look, it comes down to it. You look at mathematics. You look at sniper training. I mean, why do they have to account for the curvature of Earth, like for shots longer than a fucking kilometer?
Yeah, I'm saying, why do we entertain any of these subjects?
Hey, why don't we call the fucking Department of National Defense and tell them, hey, listen, it's a flat Earth. You do not have to account for the curvature of Earth. Look, your snipers are cool.
Because to answer your Renaissance is because we put them on lists. Well, I do. I put them on lists of possibilities, because I don't believe anything. So I just put it on a list, and then based on the research, as I go through the list, I fluctuate where it goes, and it either goes towards truth or towards lies.
Yeah, well, I've done sniper training, and like the thing is that, like, when you have you have to account for this shit.
We don't need to talk about it because it's not.
No, I
it's
do
irrelevant.
need to talk about it. No, it's not irrelevant.
That's what I'm saying. You see how we're getting away?
What I'm saying is that the second you come into the goddamn chat call and we stop talking about the things that we're talking about, we talk about what you want to talk about.
You're still talking about it, though.
Yeah,
I understand.
you.
Well, here, I can focus on what we can talk about. Let's talk about the numbers thing again, because now that we have the Mason guy, like, we could see his perspective on how I connected all of those things with Zachary Hubbard's work and Matthew Nicholson's on my notes. So what do you think of that?
Because I wasn't in that long, can you give me a quick summary of what you were talking about before?
Oh, I was showing on my notes. You have to see that episode, the last episode. Check it out, and then we'll have another discussion about it. But it's the a lot of things it was like it focused around 33, and then everything connected to the 33 went into dates, went into times, went into, and it was always birth dates and death dates of like famous people, essentially not famous people, like just people on like the news and stuff, but like more so like known or pushed like, to you, like you know about them because somebody told you about them, whether you watch the news or not, and those people have names. Like for instance, Michael Brown of the shooting is a 33. It breaks down to 33. It's irrefutable. I can show it to you. So therefore, and Michael also goes back to biblical connection. So you know, Michael the 33, it's biblical in that sense too. So I'm just like, I was wondering if you noticed that when I correlated all those things together, if you were, since you didn't watch it, you don't know, but when you watch it, just think about this stuff, and you'll see that.
Speaking to the numbers.
Oh, go ahead.
Speaking to the numbers, if we're looking for something within numbers, we'll find it. You know what I mean? Like, there's always going to be something that we can come up with a number and be like, oh, this number means this or this number means that. You know what I mean? So
what do the numbers mean? Like, I mean, intercommunication between your Masonic people. I mean, what do the numbers mean?
Are you asking me to tell you what it means?
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, let's tell us what you think it means.
If you want to, look, either you're going to be a blowfish or a babelfish. Come on.
Relax.
I am relaxed. I could not be more relaxed, brother.
I just find it hard. You want to answer, but you won't stop talking.
Reach you on your cellular device.
Don't know what that was, but the numbers, for the most part, the numbers will mean a lot to a few people, and the more and more that we see them, they start to take on a meaning to us. It's like if you believe in something and you push it, and not anyone else believes in it, but over time people start to, it becomes religious in its own way, you know? So it's like, what meaning do you put to them? Are you putting the same meaning to them? Because if we get everyone believing a certain thing, then we can make things happen in a certain way towards that. So it's like...
Wait a minute. That kind of follows into something that I've thought for a long time. We, as individuals, create our own reality, and we pull people in as a force with us into the reality. Yep. That's why we have all of this stuff being shot at us, because somebody else is behind the curtain pulling the scenes trying to create their reality through our eyes.
Exactly. Strength in numbers. The more people you can get to believe this and to see this and to acknowledge this, the more energy gets produced.
Well, some people actually resonate with the numbers where they won't with the symbols.
I mean, some people, you know, they learn by seeing. Some people could learn by reading in a book, you know, versus seeing someone do it. And certain things affect certain people in certain ways. We're not all monolithic. We're not all the same, you know. So that's in its sense. We're putting. What I'm saying is, we're putting too much on it. We're putting too much on it. It doesn't. Unless we're trying to break us as the masses.
The masses or the Masons?
The masses. But for the most part, I try not to get caught up in the numbers because I know who I am as a person. You know what I mean? I know that I love people. I know that I tolerate people even though they're just obnoxious and they think they know something. The worst thing in the world is ignorance parading as intelligence. And that is just the worst thing in the world. And I see that a lot on these panels, not your panel, but on other panels. I see people who lack certain qualities in their lives, so they put on this whole thing not to actually come towards solutions and make things happen, but just to entertain themselves and those around them so they can feed off the energy given when people say, hey, this guy's cool, or hey, this girl's cool. I see that quite a bit, and that's the biggest problem. That's the biggest problem.
That's what those people, you know, that's what they're trying to do. I mean, you know, broadcasts or whatever these things are called, these Google Hangouts are set up for that process, so anybody can talk to anybody else. But we're trying to set up like more of a validity to discussion, communication with people with like-minded thoughts, processes. We may not all agree on our like-minded process, but we all have the same goal in mind, and that's against the New World Order.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like I feel like we have to bring that into fruition rather than keeping it in our minds. You know, like I've yet to find anyone talking about just little things that we can do to fight against the system. You know, people
Which
spend like
system?
I mentioned one. Didn't you hear the one that I mentioned a couple episodes back? I said that we need to get the people that are actually doing the process to stop their programming because they've been programmed from like practical birth from their own family, and their family keeps them like in a cult process of ritual abuse, where they don't even if they break out of their programming, they think that they have to kill themselves. So
I want to ask VFOS a question.
go ahead.
What is your end game? What is your final solution?
my final solution.
Yes.
That sounds a little loaded. Can you tell me exactly what you're trying to get? Because I feel like this is a
Okay,
question.
you're asking people for their solutions. What's yours? What's your idea? What's your idea of a final solution?
To remove those in power that are abusing us and misusing us.
Like who? Like who? The Masons?
You would make a terrible TV host.
or are they our friends? Like, no, I want to know.
I say this. I'm pretty sure.
I'm exploring thoughts. Hey, look,
I know.
man,
You gotta shut up if you want to hear me talk.
Yes.
Okay,
go
so
ahead.
I'm talking. Yeah, there you go. Not all Masons are bad people that we would like to believe. There's a lot of Masons that you know probably that just don't tell you they're Masons. I told you the only reason I said I was a Mason so I can be clear with that, so people wouldn't find it out later and think I was some weird infiltrator. I could have kept my mouth closed and just joined the circle, and we could have all sat around jerking each other off with our intellect. But I did not decide to do that.
For like 5 years, so you obviously have a ring. So like if we were able to see you, you were next to us at something, we would know because we would see your ring.
No, not that. That's one of the biggest. That's cliche. Not every Mason wears a ring.
People around, like remember, I'm in Sacramento, and this is like a Masonic town. So there's a lot of people around me that be wearing the ring.
Hey, Fairborn, listen, man, we are still not getting his answer.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I'll hit the answer, and then I'll come back and tap on that.
Okay.
I thought I already answered that. To remove the people from power that are imprisoning us, that are subjecting us to all this chaos, to remove all the freaking mind control that's going on. But this isn't an easy task. I can't tell you what it's going to look like. The world's never seen. You know what I mean?
That's not an answer. What's your end
game?
What's your end game? What's your method? What's your methodology to get there, to that? How are you going to get to that point?
Okay, I'm going to try to sum a million problems down with one solution.
Yes. I want to hear it.
It comes down to treat people how you want to be treated. That's if it's good for them, then it's good for you. If it's good for you, then it's good for them. You wouldn't disrespect somebody and call somebody bad names behind their back. You wouldn't, you wouldn't talk over somebody or talk in such a manner that you wouldn't want somebody to talk to you like that, even if you feel that they're not worth what you're worth, even if you feel that they're lying. I mean, geez,
how does that solve the problem?
Well, it depends on who you're talking to, really, because if you're talking to like a cult member, then sometimes they're playing two roles.
Okay, so treat someone how you want to be treated, and vice versa. It works because if we can all
I've been doing that my entire life, and this world is still.
Shut up! Let me finish talking. God. So, if you want somebody, okay, say this. Nazi Germany. If everybody respected everyone as they respected themselves, that would have never happened. The thing is, people do not respect themselves. They do not know themselves. They do not know their true power. Therefore, they were able to be brainwashed to do that. It's hell, some people just wanted to do it. Some people are sociopaths and psychopaths. We have to come to that realization in the world. Not everybody's controlled. Some people actually like it.
Yeah, but you're not born that way. You're not born as a
It just is. I tell you, I have discussions a lot, and I always say intent means nothing to me, because if the result's the same, if the result's the same either way, then it's the result, it's the end. So I mean, this is why I say we should really hop on the solutions, because one person can't come up with the answers, but if we all focus, say 10 episodes, 3 hours each, to coming up with a solution to one problem, we are more likely to get there. I don't feel like people sit around and actually think of solutions. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. But we need solutions. We need remedies. We need to figure out these problems.
I got a solution to this Google problem.
Get away from it.
Figuring that out.
I got a solution, and it's like not fucking use it. Period.
Yep.
Agreed.
Okay. Now, what? Because when you remove something, you have to introduce something else. It's like, okay, we crashed the system. Now what do? The money problem's been removed. What do we use for money now? Because money is just a median.
I didn't say anything about money. You're talking.
Wait. Let me interject here. Real quick.
Occult.
Let's go philosophical for a second. Let's just say that there is such thing called inaction. What if this is actually supposed to play out? What if this is actually supposed to happen? What if there is a playbook? What if this is all supposed to come to fruition? What if there is an end game? I mean, there isn't anything any one person can do. What if it is left to play out, and let's just say maybe there might be an intervention somewhere, but if there wasn't an intervention, maybe everybody on the face of the earth, or maybe the whole entire universe, would just implode and nothing would exist anymore. So maybe there is an end game, and maybe this has to play out, and maybe there's going to be an influence from an outside source.
I think it has infinite possibilities. I really do. And speaking of what you said within what you said, I think the Messiah complex is really bad. That's why when somebody speaks,
what Messiah complex?
I'm going
Who?
into
Who has a Messiah complex?
We as a people, we were born into a Christian nation.
Not
you
me.
Think just because you okay, yes you were. You live in this nation.
No, I fucking don't.
I'm going to explain to you how it works. You may not per se go to church or believe that there is a Jesus, but everything in every argument that we have had and people have had, every interaction you have with people, they customize what they say based upon around what their beliefs are. And if majority of these people are Catholic and Christian, their basis is going to be that of the structure of the Bible. They're going to it's going to be.
Why
you can't stop talking. You can't stop talking long enough to actually hear me out. How are you going to say, "Come in"? Why is that not your focus? When I'm right in the middle.
Listen, I'm a lot smarter than you think I am. I'm trying to.
But then, if you were a lot smarter, you would know to hear the whole paragraph rather than to jump in.
I've listened to you for fucking hours on end. Look.
Okay.
I'm a lot smarter than you think I am, brother.
I'm not just talking to you though. It's other people want to hear this message. So can you give me that respect? This is the respect thing that we always talk about.
All right.
I don't come in on you. So why are you coming in?
You do.
So if all of our interaction is structured around someone coming to save us, because that's our deep down belief, and it's been ingrained in everybody that's in North America and Canada, then we base everything, and all of our arguments are based upon that, and we don't realize it because we haven't broke them down. This is why you hear people say, I say, hey, we need to come up with solutions. I say we. They say, well, what's your solution? Okay, Messiah complex. They're waiting for one person to come up with the answer to save everybody. It doesn't work like that. It works like us coming together.
So you're saying that we, as a human race, can save ourselves?
Yes, it's the thing is we don't have any team. We don't have teamwork. We have teamwork when it comes to the job, but we don't have teamwork to come together and see what we can do to make our lives better, because we're waiting for something outside of us due to this Messiah complex. We're waiting for a Jesus archetype to come along and save us, and we don't have to do anything because this is how we were raised. This is how we were bred. This is in our thought process. This is in our everyday life, and they enforce this. If you do not notice, they enforce this in every movie. In just about every superhero movie, it's one guy. It might be a group, but it's that one guy, and the rest of the people are his disciples. The rest of his teammates are his disciples. It's always that Jesus archetype. You see it in the Matrix. You see it in so many other things, and it puts people in the instead of people looking at it as, okay, maybe I have to save myself, and then work with others, they say, okay, no, I'm going to rise to power and I'm going to save the world. It doesn't work that way. It never works that way. They know this, but yet they've given us the Messiah complex where we believe that one person is going to do it all. This is the tactic that we use in our debates. That's why you hear all these ad hominem attacks. It's because people don't have answers, so they're going to push it to one person, rather than saying, hey, let's come together and try to think of something. Nobody can say that solutions are not the answer, because I'm not saying I know what the solutions are. I'm just saying that the solution is the answer to the question.
So a solution is an answer, and you don't know what the solution is. That's where you're going to sit on this.
We have so many problems. So it's like,
I got problems too.
How about this on another philosophical note? Philosophically speaking, what if this is, in actuality, a matrix we are in, and the reality is outside of it?
Yeah, let's come together and try to think of something. Nobody can say that
Hey,
solutions
Graham.
are not the answer. Hey, you getting feedback,
I'm
not saying I know what the solutions are. I'm just saying that the solution is the answer.
So the question, the solution is an answer, and you don't know what the solution is. That's where you're going to sit on this.
Hey, Grim, can you mute your feed, because it's feedback. We have so many problems, so it's like,
I got problems too.
How about this on another philosophical note? Philosophically speaking, what if this is, in actuality, a matrix we are in, and the reality is outside of it?
Let's come
Yeah,
okay.
Shut down your YouTube feed.
So yeah, it's just us coming together. I mean, if you notice, the biggest thing is the divide and conquer. Well, we're conquered because we're divided as hell. I don't know if the reality is different in the other side, but I know right now we're living this.
I got it fixed.
So the pie in the sky is really irrelevant. We need to figure out what we can do right now to save this. All the other stuff that we can't necessarily prove, we can go into quantum physics and all of that stuff, but it's like, what is it going to do for us? We need to figure out, I always say these people are humans. They're nothing else but humans. And when we put this reptile shit in there, stuff that we can't prove,
it's just reptile.
I'm not speaking directly towards you. Relax. Ease up.
I didn't say you're speaking to me. I said, like who in this panel said anything about reptilian shit?
Oh my God! It's not just us four saving the world, bro. It's a lot of people out there. It's a lot of people with different ways of thinking.
Oh, okay. So we can bring in all of them then. Okay, so not just the reptilian. We could bring in the UFO, the flat Earth theory. We could bring in the fucking fake moon people, the fucking concave Earth theory. Like, why don't we bring them all in then? If you want to bring in just reptilian shit, why don't we bring it all in then, motherfucker? Come on.
Is it working now?
Yay.
Rob, let me ask you a question.
Ask me a question.
How successful are you in achieving your goals?
I'm successful in achieving every fucking goal I want.
Remember that? Oh, he's obviously not very successful. Neither are most of us.
No, I'm successful in achieving every fucking goal I want. If I want to get down
it's hard
the
to be
street and buy
successful at
something,
achieving goals when nobody's really tuned into what your goals are. And it takes the whole world to do it.
My goals aren't.
You got to set smaller goals, I think.
My goals aren't determined on other people, though. If I want to go up the street and do something.
Anybody hear me? Is this thing working?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
The reason I asked that is because when we come to dealing with other people, it's certain things that we learn. We learn that no matter if you disagree, just hear the other person out, because they might say something that will benefit you in the end. At the end, but if you stop them from talking, then you won't get that. So the more you listen, the more it will assist you in your life.
Oh, just like how I say,
it also is a hindrance too, because when you got somebody with a nefarious fucking agenda and they're doing nothing but talking to you, they start to brainwash you. So you got to shut them out a little bit too. So where are you coming from with this? Because you do speak like 90% truth, but then 10% bullshit. What's up?
If this 90% truth and 10% bullshit, that's far better than a lot of people I've seen on these panels.
Not really, because a lot of people are coming. No,
they might speak on.
That's
If they speak, if they
no,
may
I'm
speak
sorry.
on.
I'm sorry. Nope, 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 not at all. Not one bit, because you're not trustworthy. Because
And you are?
bullshit. Yes, I am. Because your
Okay.
10% bullshit is tied in with Freemasonry. Look, you're sitting here talking about
I
all
don't
the
even
things
talk
that
about the
we normally agree
Freemasonry
with,
stuff.
all the things that we would normally agree with. You touch on. Yeah, da 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 da. Vaccines are bad. Da 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 da. Schools are fucked up. Da 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 da. People need to be smarter, and we need to come to solutions. And da 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 da. You say all the right things, but what the fuck are you doing, bro? You're joining Freemasonry, the very nefarious group that has got us in this mess in the very first place, that created all these religions, started all these wars, created all these false and proxy economic fucking violations on human rights. Are you kidding me, bro? Get the fuck out of here, clown. You're sitting
Okay,
there
so
trying to tell me that there's goodness in you, but you're sitting there tithing into the badness that controls the whole goddamn system that you say you're fighting. You're against the New World Order, but that's just a front man patsy name for the fucking Freemasonry group, bro.
I see, and this is
Adam Weishaupt and his fucking Illuminati bullshit. It's Freemasonry, bro.
okay.
So don't come at me. Don't wait. Whoa. I'm talking. I'm still talking. Shut the fuck up.
I realize
No,
is
a
that
little bit of your own medicine, bro.
people.
I'm talking, man. It ain't even cool. You can zip it up. I'm not even done talking, man.
Well,
hey. You want to try and
I
fucking
stopped
act like you need to
listening.
be respected, then you need to show a little respect. You asked me a question.
I don't call people names.
Hush. No, you just did. You just told him to shut the fuck up. It doesn't matter if you called somebody names.
No, I told him to shut
bro.
up. I didn't call him out of his name.
Said shut the fuck up, man. That's the kind of shit that gets your teeth knocked out sitting in somebody's living room, man. So why don't you practice what the fuck you preach, dude?
Okay.
Yeah, do that. Listen, I'm not done. I'm gonna go back to the point I was trying to make before you alpha waved me over my fucking speech. You understand? This is what we're talking about.
You're starting to turn into, what's that guy's name? Hell Wars?
You
and him have a lot in common.
Trying to claim a little nefarious. You got a lot in common with a piece of shit, bro. A stink, you stink. You got a fucking a brown tone to you, and you turn white when you fucking get older. You know, you're just like a piece of shit too, man. So who gives a fuck? So anyway, make a long story short, you can't just come in here and act like Freemasonry is good, and we're gonna start listening to you and all this kind of shit, and and you're gonna tell people that they need to fucking behave, and how they're sitting there talking on a channel, trying to be on a platform, just to be doing anything. Man, shut up, dude. Seriously. Now, I came over here not to talk to you, so shut your mouth. I came here to talk about that flat Earth shit that somebody was fucking talking about.
See? We're not talking solutions. This is how it always happens.
Yeah, and that flat Earth shit, it's gonna be a solution when I show y'all that it isn't real.
Who cares if it's real?
Yeah, well,
who cares?
You know why?
He's not gonna remove it from slavery.
You ask me who cares, and I'll shut your fucking mouth. I'll answer it.
God,
who cares?
You can't say that. How is it gonna remove elites from power?
Answer, bro. It's a quick answer. You watch the video for 10 minutes, and you're all of a sudden you're done thinking about flat Earth. Now you can fucking join up with the rest of the reality, and we can move forward. Are you ready? It's about fucking cohesion, right? So here, we're going to create a little cohesion right here by getting rid of the idea that this flat Earth thing is all mysterious and blah, 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 and we can get onto the real idea of what's going on out here.
Religious.
So, we ready for me to fucking screen share this in a second, or what? Can I do that? Oh.
I mean, I don't really feel like watching a video. I don't care for flat Earth.
Then you can leave, bro. Nobody
listen,
really asked you.
if I may, Graham, I'm sorry.
Look at Freemason gonna come in here and direct the show.
Who gives a fuck what you think there, Renaissance? I mean, it's not your podcast.
Okay, you've been drinking again. I can hear it on your voice. Dude,
I don't need to drink, bro, so you can run your fucking mouth somewhere else.
I wasn't talking about you, Grim, okay?
Hey,
ego.
Hey, shut your fucking mouth there.
Well, I'm the only one that was just talking to you, dude. So
Renaissance.
No, Rob's talking. You see, you obviously have your volume down because you want people to hear you, and you don't want to hear anybody.
I cannot hear Rob. I hear you only. I hear you louder than anybody else. What are you talking about?
Welcome. Caroline.
I could tell how people were raised. It's
Hey,
really
there you
bad.
go, judgmental again. Why don't you just shut up, dude?
You're a product.
Nobody likes you,
You're a
bro.
product of your
Nobody likes
environment,
you,
and I can
man.
tell your
You're a
environment.
product.
You think
You're
I
a product.
live
You're
for
a
that?
product.
It's
You're a product.
look. Let's get on the
If I was a
solution.
product of
Look,
my
stop making
environment,
this
I
about how
wouldn't
you
be
feel
what I
about
am
me. You're
today,
not my
bro.
girlfriend,
You have
okay?
no idea who
Look,
I am, bro.
let's
You
stop.
have
Let's
no
not make
idea.
this about
Hey,
how
you
you
You have
feel
no
about me.
idea. You're a
Let's not
clown.
make
You're a silly little clown,
Let's
man.
not make.
You're
Let's
making
not make this
assertions
how
and
you feel
guesses.
about me.
Assertions
You're
and guesses,
not my
bro.
girlfriend. You're not my
Guessing.
wife. You're
Keep
not my
guessing, bro.
mistress.
Keep
So
guessing.
this
You're
how you
not
feel
my
about
bitch
me should
either.
not
You ain't
matter.
my bitch either, girl. I'll tell you that much right now. You're too damn ugly. And a Freemason bitch would have a big smack mark across her face coming up in my face. Dead up. Smack you right across your mouth, little girl. There you go.
The bitter.
Keep running your mouth, dude.
We have a new panelist.
You're a fucking antagonistic little piece of shit, bro. That's what you
How
are.
are you, Caroline?
You that's all you are. Don't ask somebody how they are as if you're somebody's friend, you clown. Fuck out of here.
It's just she shouldn't have to come in the room and hear you talk
She
like
shouldn't
this.
have to. Yeah, and Red shouldn't have to hear you talking about getting spank pics of her either.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really. Hey, Caroline, how are you?
Hey,
Get rid of this fucking clown, dude. Like I said, he fucking sat there and told Red.
Hey,
right
Graham,
to her
I have
face,
no judgment
I
here.
took a picture of you for spank pictures. Yeah. Yeah,
I
took a
have no.
picture of you talking to
I
me.
don't judge my panel.
Yeah,
whatever.
no. Yeah, she left right away, bro. You thought that was cute? Nobody gives a fuck about what you're saying, man. You're a weirdo.
I'm not even
Can
going
we
to
go back
address
to
this.
the numbers? That's this one. This one's a reprise to last one, and I was kind of like focused on numbers, occult symbolism, and magic.
No, I was watching. That's not what the conversation went to, but I was watching.
If I may interject, guys, listen, Renaissance.
That's why I hopped in.
If
you wanted to, you don't want to do that then?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Robert.
All right, cool. Renaissance.
I can't hear you, Robert.
I'm in Edmonton, Alberta. You want to come
At
down
all.
here? We can go toe to toe, and I'll slit your fucking throat. Got that? Come down here. Come down here personally.
Fear. You were talking.
No.
What were you saying, Fear?
When?
When you were talking, you were trying to gain control. What were you saying?
You didn't hear it?
I said let's talk about the numbers and
okay.
the gematria and fucking, magic with the CK, the occult, hidden in plain sight, and symbolism. That's what this is about. And this is the third part.
Robert, I can't hear you for shit. Are you?
He's not talking now.
Yeah, but I never.
Hey, come find me. Come find me, man.
Rob, stop drinking, bro.
Rob,
you're not the greatest person in the world when you drink.
Don't get all like.
What does that have to do with? What does that have to do with anything?
Because you call
Come and
yourself
find
a
me.
fucking information hub and you're in the truth movement, but yet you're an alcoholic and you can't control yourself.
Renaissance,
You're not a man, Rob.
You can't control your goddamn bullshit.
Chill out.
You can't control yourself and your fucking bullshit with your fucking solution talk.
This guy, would anybody want this guy on a panel to save the world? Like, this guy's an alcoholic.
No. Stop judging people in my panel.
I'm not. Every time we come into a chat, he's drunk talking trash.
I don't care. That doesn't bother me. I'm saying stop.
But we have to have a standard. We have to have a standard.
I don't judge you. You know what I mean? I don't have a problem with you, but don't judge the people in my panel, please.
He's drunk. You can hear it, bro. I'm just saying.
I don't care if people are drunk or doing whatever they're doing.
But maybe that's the problem. We don't have a standard of who can join these rooms and how the conduct.
I'm still reasonable.
That's part of this. That's part of the process, man. I'm not about shutting people out. That's why you're here.
You're a judgmental prick there.
You shut out everywhere else. That's why you're here.
A spade is a spade.
I'm able, like everybody else.
Renaissance. You're a judgmental prick, is what you are. And because I don't agree with what you agree with, that's why you're fucking taking me out. So guess what? Come down and find me. Come and find me.
No thanks.
You want solutions? My solution is to take you out. Come find me. Yeah, that's my. Hey, you want to go and tour around? You already fucking offered to go and visit Grim V. You know what? Offer to come visit me. I wasn't
visiting him for some freaking
Well, I don't care what it was you had in mind. You know what? Come and visit me. We'll have a pina colada, and then I'll take you out.
Pina coladas are for women.
Come find me. Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking. I was gonna buy you one before I take you out.
You're nice. You take me out. Where we're going?
For lunch.
Oh, where about?
Somewhere in Edmonton.
Oh, right on. You know any good restaurants?
Yeah, in a little forested area.
Oh yeah. Do they have? How is the bacon there?
I don't know. We have to go down underground.
Ooh, 6 underground, ground beneath our feet.
Well, no, I wouldn't give you that fucking respect.
Okay, you were saying, Fear?
Oh, I was saying, like, let's get back to, like what we were trying to focus on originally. And then, I could just take each of your perspectives one at a time so you stop arguing with each other, if you want.
Hey, we have, Fear, we have Caroline just came in the room too. If you want to introduce her?
Yeah, she's been talking to me on the side. She's having technological problems. Are you? Is your mic working? Hold on.
Hey, Grim. After we leave this room, let's me and you do a chat so we can just talk. Just me and you.
I see. You're busy. Sucked up in your own little fucking world.
Uh-oh. What was that?
I don't know if anybody's talking or not.
Can you hear me, Grim?
I don't even see my little green bar.
I can hear you. Can anyone hear me? So no one can hear anyone.
Hello?
Hello.
Can nobody hear anybody? What happened?
Hello?
Hello? Check. 1 2 1 2. There we go. Hello.
Yes. Yes.
I see my bar going up.
I hear you there, Mr. Grimm. Do you hear me?
Sunspots.
Ah, shit.
I can hear you, Rob.
I bet.
I can hear you, View.
Okay, great. Hey, Grim, after this, let's me and you do a
can hear me?
hangout so we can talk. Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you. Anybody else?
I think it's just you, me, and Rob that can hear each other.
I cannot
Caroline?
hear Rob. I cannot hear Rob.
You can't hear me?
I only hear you. The only person I don't want to be talking to is you, and that's who I can hear.
Oh, perfect situation.
I can hear all you guys. Carolyn's mic's not working.
That's the story of my life, you fucker.
You can't escape me. Look, I am your father.
Dude, I'm gonna screen share this fucking round earth shit to you then, motherfucker.
If you link it to me, I swear to God. Okay, that didn't make sense. I promise you, as a man of my word, I will watch it.
Let me fix this. Oh, you'll want to because it's stuff you already know. I mean, well, a lot of people don't know how to do this stuff, but I mean, in case they don't, which I believe that most people they just don't. They get through school with general math or whatever. So this will help them to get started. And then there's like 8 different parts of synchronistic earth bouncing bullshit. You know.
All right.
You'll see. It's got to do with their silly stuff.
You want me
Not
to...
everything is completely right, but most of it is. Enough that you can check out.
Okay.
All right, Robert. Why don't you come back in the call, man? That's what I had to do, in and out a couple times.
Getting sprugled.
It's like, man, I'm in another whole call. Fear porn.
Yep.
It happened when Caroline hopped on.
Yeah, I don't know. Her
Not saying nothing.
thing
I'm
is
just saying.
technology. She doesn't understand it.
Hop off and hop back in. Just push refresh, you know.
Fear.
Yep.
I thank you for helping me stay grounded. I really thank you.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for, man. I'm just kind of like, get you guys like to stop arguing with each other and kind of like focus on the research, focus on
All right, man.
the point of getting us to just discuss, basically. Try not to judge each other, even though we don't agree. It's cool. Let's just not judge each other.
Yeah, I just want to speak to this for 30 seconds, and then I'm going to leave it alone, and I'm not going to mention it anymore. I feel like when people find out I'm a Mason, they look at me the way that, let's say, the Iraq people would look at American soldiers. They're all bad. And they represent America, so all Americans are bad. And it's like, that's not the case, man. That's not the case. That's not the case. I mean, I don't know everything, but I know how I feel, and I'll tell you this: we're all going through the same thing, and being amazing does not exclude me from it.
Okay.
I gotta breathe the same air, eat the same foods. You know.
Well, yeah, I gotta take basically everybody's perspective in count, and I basically I don't believe anything, so I gotta take everybody with a grain of salt and just like, I don't know any of you people, you know what I mean? It's just a matter of what you say, and in other places where you say it and stuff like that, and you kind of build a persona over time. That's all. So, but I want to focus on the main, like, what is perspective of certain things, and then do that on each individual, episode, kind of like, and then hash it out, get whatever's going, and it becomes an interesting discussion. Then I listen to it later, and I hear stuff I didn't even hear when it was happening. It's like it's definitely.
Hello.
Yes,
got
your
voices.
mic's working.
There you are.
Can you hear us?
How about porn? Can we hear porn?
Can you hear me?
I hear everyone.
Do you hear me?
Shit.
No, he doesn't.
I can't catch a fucking break.
What the hell?
He can hear me.
I can hear you, not me. That's weird.
It was my Mason brothers hacked it, so me and him were forced to talk to each other.
Yeah, right. That's so important, right?
but yeah, man, I see what she's talking about with the numbers. The numbers are everywhere, and it's creating. You can create a way a person thinks just by association. Whether it be numbers or shapes.
I'm just playing.
Fair porn.
No, I muted him just to see if he can click his button back. I'll see if it works for me again. If I can hear him.
The numbers seem to me, as I'm, when I first started doing it, it definitely.
I hear you trying to talk, man. Say something else.
Part of the what? Hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Man, I can hear you.
If you leave and come back, would that? Do you think that might help? Because I left and came back like 8 times just to try to fix this.
Me leave and come back? Won't I?
Because I really want to hear what you're saying, bro.
If I leave, doesn't that stop the whole hangout?
I know I don't act like it sometimes.
Oh, you know what? I don't know. I'll write that down. He doesn't hear us. He doesn't hear me.
I don't know. Can he hear me?
I think so because he left.
Oh, okay.
I think he left. I'm pretty sure he did.
No,
Oh,
I'm
no,
No,
he
it
didn't.
won't stop the hangout if he leaves. Tell him he just has to come right back. Just push refresh.
okay.
I do it all the time. My Google will get stuck and I'll run too many things. I have to leave and come back. We hold the hangout open. It stays open for 8 hours. You can keep jumping back in the same link until you close the liveness. I wouldn't
Okay.
come in and trick you into shutting down your show, bro. I promise. Haha, show's over, fucker. Got him. Haha. Let's go do that to someone else now.
I think we should have a chat, me and you, in like a room when this all ends, so we can actually hash out what our differences are and why we argue so much. Because
I already know why. I don't need to I don't. You're like that ex-girlfriend who keeps wanting to get me back. I already don't want to be with her. She just come on, let me get in the room with you.
The thing is, I see how I see the gain for a lot of people by what we say, and no, I don't want to say no message is greater than the other, but that's what I just said. I think that everyone could gain from us, actually, if not getting along, being cordial at least. Because you realize a lot of people are.
I just don't have to. I don't agree with a lot of the shit you say. A lot of it. I mean, a lot of it I do, but that's because you're touching on all the regular things we're supposed to agree on. But then again, do you understand what Freemasonry really is?
I ask you the same question because I'm a member and you're not.
Yeah,
so I'm behind the lines.
Yeah, but you're a compartmentalized little sheeple member. You're nothing.
Okay.
Like you really are nothing. Even if your daddy was in there for his whole life, you are still nothing. If you have it in your heart that you think that there's some good being done for me, from on this aspect, from you to us, then you're confused. You're compartmentalized.
Okay.
You don't understand.
Okay.
You don't understand that every time you take out, go and do your little whatever you're doing for them, creating a business or for fundraising or doing any little things to give a tithing to that system. I don't do that
for them. Are you serious?
Yeah, but you will be. That's part of the deal. That's part of the fucking deal, brother.
I didn't sign no contract on that one. And that's never been kicked to me, so
Look,
I don't know.
No. It's not about signing a contract, brother. I mean, I think you and I both know that. It's not going to be on paper what you're going to be doing. You're going to get a nepotism type job. You're going to be put into a position where you have to sign certain things, waive certain things, do certain things. And it doesn't mean that you don't see them as nefarious things. It could be just a vote yes for, this and that on a certain thing, or, just lightweight shit. And I'm putting you way up into a position anyway, like in my mind. It's much less than that, I'm sure, for you. But anyway, that's why you sit in there thinking that you know stuff when you don't. And because if you did, you wouldn't want to be there. And if you do want to be there, then you're already a bad person. So it's right now you believe you're a good person because you're compartmentalized enough to not know what you're doing. But I'm not.
I say this. I say this.
What?
I am exactly who I'm supposed to be at this moment. No one controls my actions. No one says, hey, you go do this. I listen to a lot of people and I actually weigh it to see if it's beneficial. Now, I've never signed anybody's life away. I've never done anything out of the crazy. I haven't done anything probably worse than your average person. I don't steal. I don't lie. I don't put people in situations I wouldn't want to find myself in. People lie when they're not comfortable with who they are.
They don't lie.
I can tell you if I'm wrong, I'm gonna say I'm wrong because that's part of being a man. And then two, I don't mind admitting that I'm wrong, and I
Is he
don't
gonna
mind
come back?
telling the truth.
Is Fear Porn
I
gonna
think
come
so.
back?
I believe so. I think something was wrong with his internet. That's why. But yeah, it's what I'm saying, dude. It's like, Fear, you're back. Fear. Shit. Now we can't hear him.
Can't hear you, brother.
Here, let me log out. I'll come back.
All right, so everyone's tried it. Fear. Try one more time. Sometimes it takes a couple times.
And then he logs back.
I still hear you now.
Yeah, it's like we're all gonna have things that we
Hey,
disagree.
that's clear.
We're all gonna have things that we disagree on. None of us live the perfect life. We're all a product of our environments.
There we go.
But the message.
Fear Porn.
And
Shit, he came in. I heard him when he came in, and then
I didn't hear him.
I saw his bar go up too. Caroline, what about you? Are you able to talk? Is your mic all plugged in there, Fear Porn, real good and everything? I don't know. Reboot your computer. Literally had to do that because one of my programs like snatched my sound off capability off of another one. You know, hijacked the playback, and then it wouldn't load up, so I had to reboot my whole computer. Put everything back where it goes.
But yeah, we just gotta demonstrate to people how to talk and be around people that you just don't agree with. Because I'll tell you this, if we were in NATO and what's going on, they'd be like, hold on, these guys, they're no longer members, get them out of here. You know what I mean?
Dude, that's what I'm talking about. That kind of shit right there. Fuck NATO, dude. NATO don't tell me what the fuck to do.
It's not.
We're gonna. Oh, if we were in a more centralized government, they'd be like, oh, what are you doing?
But nothing gets done when we're
we don't give a fuck what they'll be like.
Nothing gets done when we're yelling.
That's my point. And something does get done. That's where you're wrong. Nothing gets done from whose standpoint. Nothing gets done from a governmental standpoint where you can't be controlling everyone at the same time. That's what you're saying. I mean, I'm down with that. Yeah. We
may be debating a subject, and when one person starts to yell and then another person starts to yell, it becomes an emotional thing. And then now people are debating. They're yelling to be heard rather than to.
I think you're missing the point. It's already an emotional thing. Our children are being killed right now. I don't got time for your Freemasonry bullshit. You're the ones doing it.
Children being killed? Bro,
yes, they are. It's called slow kill. It's when you inject somebody with thimerosal or fucking aluminum, that's a slow kill. Because you're first off. What?
I hear that. I'm saying I hear you. And I'm saying that if you haven't turned on the news lately to notice that it's open season on African Americans, then I mean, you know what I mean? Like
on white people too. Where are you going with the race baiting?
I mean, you say children. It's not a race bait. It's not a race bait.
It's open season on both of us. No.
Race baiting.
The way you just brought it up,
something that affects particular.
The way you just brought it up, hey Freemason.
Something.
Freemason.
And I gave you children. Now think about
this. I'm race baiting on a race baiting
It's not a race bait. I'm going to tell you what. I'm trying to tell you what I was exactly saying because it's evident. But you can run it that way if I don't respond to it. No, what I'm saying is, yes, our children. What about people who don't have children? But I'm talking to something that attacks me specifically.
They are the children. They're being killed.
I'm talking about
people who don't have children are my children too. You understand what I mean?
it's. I mean,
I must be a little older than you, so I'm looking at it from another perspective. I think.
I hear you. I hear you, and that's not what you're missing. What I'm saying, I'm talking about something that directly attacks one specific type of person.
What is not direct about brain damage from vaccines? What is not direct from aluminum particulates being sprayed in the air? What's not direct about a school system set up through? Hey, I'm answering your question. What a school system set up to fucking dumb down the population through Freemasonry? What is not direct about that? We got to stop all of that. What is not direct about a democracy? A system set up to steal from others. What's not direct about that? That's all direct. Those are all direct attacks on us. What's not a direct attack about the 1776 and us being lied to and told that we were free when we were really being enslaved as debtor slaves to the 21 loans taken out from the Revolutionary War through Freemasonry. Ben Franklin and them writing up the bullshit Treaty of Peace, and through Freemasonry.
I look at Freemasonry.
Trap the American people into thinking that they were fucking freed through Freemasonry.
But I look at
yeah, but no. Let's back it up a little bit more. All right, let's back it up to the Magna Carta, where the king was supposed to be giving over tithings to the fucking Pope, and 1,000 silvers for Ireland, 1,000 for England, 1,000, so how's fucking the king and the Pope? The king never has to really give the land over to the Pope. Nothing really gets signed over to the Pope because the Pope already owns everything. Never had to be given over to him, because the whole thing about a king being around in the first place is a fucking proxy rule for the Pope. So let's go back to Freemasonry. Figure out why are we being ruled through so many proxy methodologies? Freemasonry.